It's time for Eastmont Wildcat football on the NCW Life Channel. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by The Walkabout Grill in Wenatchee and Leavenworth, Collins Fashions, Town Nissan, and Town Chrysler Jeep Dodge. Now let's go live to Wildcat Stadium for all the action with Grant Olson and Eric Grandstrom.
Hello and welcome everyone to another NCW Life Channel sports production of Friday Night Lights. Tonight once again from Wildcat Stadium at Eastmont High School, where the 2 and 4 Eastmont Wildcats will take on the 2 and 3 Eisenhower Cadets. Joining me tonight is Jay Seebeck, former Eastmont grad.
Glad to be here. Good to be back out on the turf. Great
to have you here too, Jay. Both these teams 2 non-league wins so far this season, and both looking for that first Big Nine win. And really, the schedule favors Eastmont down the stretch here with Davis coming up, Wenatchee, of course, a tough Sunnyside team, but Eastmont could get healthy in a hurry with a win tonight.
Yeah, well, a big win tonight is going to be what finishes out your season. This is what's going to help them build that momentum they need to then be advancing and really making a shot here in this Big Nine Conference.
And I'll tell you, the last 3 weeks, it's been all Cameron Scaramazzino. He has been lights out offensively, both catching the ball out in the flat, making big runs after the catch, and, of course, running the ball, too. He's going to be a big part of this game tonight.
Yeah, and what I'm looking forward to out of him is his work on special teams. You get in this cold weather and you start seeing in special teams here in high school football, you have a lot of sophomores, younger guys end up playing on special teams to give the seniors and juniors a break. Scaramazzino, a guy with a lot of speed, might take advantage of the less experienced players there on special teams.
And Jay, you look back to the top 2 teams right now in the Big Nine, Moses Lake and West Valley. You think back to those games right here at Wildcat Stadium. Eastmont was in the Moses Lake game and really should have beat West Valley. So you got to take that as a positive if you're Coach Don into that locker room.
I think anytime you come in as a slight underdog to any situation like that, like the Moses Lake game, penalties. You got to look at how those teams are playing and then playing against the adversity. You can never control what the ref's going to do, so you got to make sure that you're taking care of it on your end every single time.
All right, as the NCW Life Channel's sports production of Friday Night Lights pregame show continues up next, we will visit with head coach Mike Don right after this. Welcome back to the pregame show here on the NCW Life Channel. Now time to visit with head coach Mike Don. And by the way, our coach's interview is brought to you by TC Slingers. Sand, gravel, bark, or soil, they lay the material for you. And Coach Don, big win last weekend over in Idaho. It's got to make you feel good coming into this Big Nine matchup tonight.
Yeah, it was a good win. We played really well, really efficiently, scored on 6 of our first 7 drives. Our other one, we were in the red zone, just didn't finish, so it was good. I thought we played really well.
Should be a good battle tonight, Coach. Both teams tonight, Ike and Eastmont, looking for their first Big Nine win. But let's go back. Moses Lake and West Valley are leading this division, and you go back to the games that were here against those 2 teams, in it for most of it against Moses Lake, and probably should have beat West Valley. That's got to be a positive that these players can take into the locker room.
Yeah, no, we feel really good. We feel like right now we've underachieved a little bit as far as our record goes, but we're getting better every week, and we feel really confident right now, and our kids are playing good football.
That was my next question, Coach. 6 games into this season. How has your team progressed compared to what you thought at the beginning of the year?
We've progressed really well. I just think that they've grown a lot with a new defense and young guys. I mean, right now we start 8 underclassmen on defense, 3 sophomores, and they've gotten better every week, and you can really see that growth, and it's exciting to see.
And speaking of getting better every week, Cameron Scaramazzino once again has become a star on the offense here the last 3-4 weeks. Going to be highlighted tonight, I'm guessing, a bunch too.
Yeah, he's done a really good job for us. We moved him around and ended up having him play. He's been playing a little bit more running back now, and it's really helped open him up and get him some carries and some looks, and he's done a really good job for us, and we're excited about how he's progressing there.
Any injuries to tell us about tonight, Coach?
Jaron Schneider has to sit tonight. He's got an illness and he can't play, but other than that, we're healthy.
Fantastic. Best of luck.
Thank you.
All right. Pre-game show continues with Jay and I in the booth as we bring you tonight's starting lineups right here on the NCW Life Channel. Stay with us. Grant Olson and Jay Seebeck in the booth here at Wildcat Stadium for Friday Night Lights here on the NCW Life Channel. It's the Eastmont Wildcats and the Eisenhower Cadets tonight, and a very important Big Nine matchup. Let's take a look at tonight's starting offenses, beginning with the Eisenhower Cadets. At quarterback, Drew Cornegay, he's a 5'8", 150-pounder. At running back is Weldon Shields at 185 pounds. Tony Barajas is a wide receiver, senior, 5'10", 175. Drew Reyes, one of the top receivers in the Big Nine. He's a junior, 5'10", 160. Jordan Corbray, also at wide receiver. Not very big, and he's a young one at 5'5", 145-pound sophomore. At tight end, Drew Nyberg, 6 feet, 180 pounds. He's a senior. And now the offensive line. Torrin Meeks at 5'7", 180. Chance Ward at 6'1", 250. Christian Soberantz, 6'1", 235. Riley Hansen's an offensive lineman at 6'1", 245. And rounding out the offensive line and the offensive starters for the Cadets, Enrique Espinoza. He's a big one at 5'11", 300 pounds. We'll take a break and come back and take a look at the Eastmont Wildcats starting offense right after this. Pre-game show continues here on the NCW Life channel. Grant Olson along with Jay Seebeck. And today's broadcast of Eastmont Wildcat football is brought to you by the Walkabout Grill in Wenatchee and Leavenworth. Take a walk on the wild side. Also by Collins Fashions in downtown Wenatchee. Real clothes for real women. And by Town Nissan, your local East Wenatchee Nissan dealer where honesty and transparency come first. And by Town Chrysler Jeep and Dodge, your Town Chrysler family store where people get nice surprises. And Jay, who doesn't like a nice surprise, right?
You better tell me. I'm thinking that Ike's going to be looking for a little surprise here on senior night to be getting back at Eastmont here.
That's right. It is senior night. We didn't mention that earlier, but it is tonight. And we had some pre-game festivities. All the seniors were announced and came out on the field with their parents. A nice moment. Also, Jay, lots of pink here in the crowd tonight.
Yeah, that's one thing I was noticing. You got the pink balloons down on the sideline there, and you got a lot of the coaches and players all wearing some type of thing. You got a lot of the students in the crowds. They got some new Eastmont Wildcat pink, so obviously supporting Breast Cancer Awareness Month here.
Absolutely. Let's take a look now at the Eastmont Wildcats starting offense. I do want to mention, and I left it out prior to our break, head coach of the Eisenhower Cadets is Gary Jimenez. Now the starters for Eastmont, Dalton Harper. Kind of interesting, isn't it, Jay? Moved from tight end to tackle now, 6 feet, 210-pounder. He's a senior. That's an interesting move, isn't it? Must be a heck of a blocker.
It's got to be it's that, or maybe his catching wasn't there, but you got to think that a tight end coming in, moving into the line, he's going to have the quick feet that might be able to help him get the edge on some defenders.
At the other tackle is senior Brennan Cornell. He's 5'10", 205. The two guards are Clayton Harris, 6 feet, 240. He's a senior. And Carson Payne, only a sophomore at 6'1", 200 pounds. The center, and he's a good one, is senior David Valdivinos. I'll do that a couple of times tonight. 6 feet, 270 pounds. The tight end now is Ruben Peck, 6 feet, 200. Running back / wide receiver / slot player, Devin Snyder, senior at 6 feet, 190. Ethan Simpson is the other wide receiver at 6'4", 160. Running back, Cameron Scaramazino, and what a couple of weeks he's had. He's a 5'10", 175-pound senior. Another running back is a senior, Manny Lopez, and we'll see him quite a bit, I have a feeling, tonight at 5'8", 200. And rounding out the offensive starters for the Eastmont Wildcats is junior quarterback Kalen Massey. He's 6'2", 170 pounds. Head coach of Eastmont in his third season is Michael Dawn.
Well, one thing you were saying there about not really knowing where is Snyder's position essentially, and what I see a lot of with teams with offenses now is they just try to get one guy that kind of plays all three different types of offensive roles. Just get him the ball in space and just let him work with his feet and use that speed. So see if they utilize that ability on Snyder's part tonight.
And it looks like Ike won the toss and they deferred, Jay, so they will get the ball first in the second half and will kick off to Eastmont. Our kickoff tonight is brought to you by TC Slingers. No more need for wheelbarrows, shovels, or rakes. They place the material for you.
One thing I want to point out is that you can't see it on the cameras right now, but all the footballs are in a nice heating type of bag to keep them warm, and so you'll be seeing the cold have an effect on the way the ball flies tonight.
It's kind of a chilly one tonight with the breeze and temperatures about upper 40s to around 50. Here's the kick by Jonathan Guzman. It's bobbled by Scaramazino at the 10-yard line. Gets some room at the 20, across the 25 and the 30, where he's finally brought down at the Eastmont, looks like 33-yard line. Maybe the 34, no, the 33, and that's where Eastmont will begin our first drive of the night. Great to have you along tonight on the NCW Life channel as we continue on with Big Nine coverage here. Friday Night Lights in Eastmont. Kind of a good football night, though, isn't it, Jay? A little bit on the nippy side, but all in all, out in the field, it's probably pretty good.
Well, what you've been seeing over the last week or so is the changing of the colors in the trees, and so when it's like getting down to the real good part of the high school football season.
1st and 10, handoff up the middle. It's Lopez in a big hole across the 40 to near first down yardage. He may have it right at the marker at the 42-yard line, and he does. A nice gain of 10 by Manny Lopez on first down for Eastmont, and a nice way to start this one.
Yeah, hit the hole hard, didn't really try to do anything fancy. You just saw the opening and went for it and picked up 10.
As Coach Don mentioned in the pregame show that Eastmont scored on 6 of their first 7 possessions last week at Sandpoint, Idaho. So that's a good way to roll into this one against the Cadets. 1st and 10, Eastmont.
Running a 3-back set here.
Interesting formation. Haven't seen that much this year. Handoff again to Lopez. Keeps those legs turning across the 30 or 45 rather. And he'll make it to about the 47-yard line.
Yeah,
Gain of 4.
Never really seen too much of that formation. Was that kind of a pistol with and then 2 additional?
I would call that a pistol, yeah. I've done a lot of games this year for Eastmont. I don't think I've seen that yet. So a little bit different look by Coach Don tonight against Eisenhower.
Well, it's cold, and what you do when it's cold, you run the football, and so there's going to be a big battle up there up front.
Yeah, absolutely. Eisenhower and Eastmont both looking for their first Big 9 win, both at 0-2 so far in this season, but still counting tonight, 4 Big 9 games left to go this season. A lot can happen in the last month or so.
Sure can.
2nd down 6, Wildcats at their own 47-yard line. Massey in shotgun, handoff. No, he's going to keep it. Read option up the middle. He's got a hole into Ike territory down to the 44-yard line.
What I saw there was Eastmont's offensive line. They got their initial blocks done, then they immediately moved to the second level. You got a couple of Eastmont linemen then getting into that smaller linebacking core for Eisenhower there.
And we talked about that, Jay, off camera, that the linebackers are only about 180, 185, and 195 in this 3-4 defense. Kind of a 4-3, though, at the moment. And that was a 13-yard gain for Massey and another first down for the Wildcats. Now in Eisenhower territory. Just underway here in the first quarter. This time Massey under center, kind of unusual. Lopez in the backfield. Here's that wide receiver reverse to Devin Snyder. He's bottled up on the outside, cuts it back inside, and still maybe manages to get to the original line of scrimmage. I don't know. We'll call it no gain on that one. Usually Snyder has a pretty good opening there, but you know, Jay, when you run that play a lot, these coaches change. They, switch tapes with each other. And Ike knows that Eastmont's going to run this play, especially with Snyder, the great athlete that he is.
Yeah, I mean, Snyder's a great athlete, and, he obviously did a good job getting back to the line of scrimmage. But anytime you're trying to make a juke move and you're behind the line of scrimmage, you're not going to make it very far because that gives the defense so much time to catch up.
Actually lost a yard, so it's 2nd down and 11 now. Ball at the Ike 44-yard line. Massey in shotgun, quick hitter in the flat, and it's too low for Snyder. Boy, he had some open field to run, too, but that ball was well short of the receiver, Devin Snyder, and that'll bring up 3rd down now and long.
Yeah, that's just one of those things. He might have been a little flustered there with looked like the linebacker defensive end kind of was jumping in the air, might have gotten in his head, didn't see his wide receiver quite well.
Eastmont moved down the field. A drive that began at their own 33-yard line, a couple of first downs, and now have kind of stalled out at 3rd down and 11. Lopez in the backfield with Massey. 2 receivers, bottom of the screen. And Scaramazzino at the top of the screen. Inside slant, incomplete to Devin Snyder. Just a little bit high that time, and that'll bring up 4th down, and we'll send out the punting unit for the Wildcats.
One thing I wanted to be looking at here tonight is, as it keeps getting colder here, is as a wide receiver, your own, and especially in a run offense, is where you have a very limited amount of opportunities where you can be getting thrown the ball, and your hands start getting cold if they're not being used. So they got to make sure that even if they're on the sidelines, not necessarily in the game or only just out there blocking, they got to keep their hands ready because when the ball comes to you, you better be ready.
Great point, too, Jay. Manny Lopez on to punt for Eastmont. Drew Reyes back to receive, standing at the 10-yard line for the Cadets. Low, short wobbly kick. Kicks a good Eastmont bounty inside the 15. Might make it all the way to the 10, and it does down there. And the Eisenhower Cadets will begin 1st and 10 at their own 10-yard line.
Yeah, the ball had a nice skip and roll. Real fortunate for Eastmont there, and got about a 15-yard roll out of it.
And now we get our first look tonight, Jay, at the quarterback for Ike, and that's Drew Cornegay. Remember, he's only played in 5 games. He's 2nd in the league in passing right now with 842 yards, 7 touchdowns. and has thrown 9 interceptions on the season, but I expect Ike to put the ball in the air here in this one. We'll see.
Well, one thing you always see if you have a good quarterback, top 2 like we've been seeing, is that he's got to have a good wide receiver, and that's where it looks like Drew Reyes comes in as being his number 1 target.
He's one of the tops in the Big 9, you're right. 1st and 10, Ike now at their own 10, 9:22 left to go here in this first quarter. No score from Wildcat Stadium. Cornegay in shotgun. 1 receiver in the backfield with him. That's Weldon Shields. A handoff goes to Shields right up the middle. Nothing doing there. And a nice tackle by Brett Womack, the senior inside linebacker. We might see Shields a little bit tonight. He's built pretty solidly at 5'9", 185, Jay. Pretty good fullback. So I think that just kind of offsets all the passing that I think we're going to see from Mike with this 4 receiver set now. We've got a timeout.
Well, what you want to do with a guy like that is, fullback, a little small guy, but a lot of power behind him. So you get him the ball early and start getting those linebackers to start cheating in. That opens up the passing game.
I still think, Jay, play-action pass is the best offensive play in history. I don't care what level of football it is. If you can establish just a semblance of a running game, that play-action will work, and it's just such a great play.
Yeah, it's because it makes it so that the linebackers can't be one-dimensional.
That's
they have to realize that they have to defend the run as well as the pass. 2nd and 7 now for the Cadets. Ball at their own 13-yard line. Cornegay in shotgun with Shields in the backfield with him. Cornegay, a planned quarterback draw, I believe, and nothing doing. Maybe back to the original line of scrimmage. And a nice stop by big senior nose tackle Braden Johnson. That was a good job of him staying right in his zone there on the defensive line and letting the quarterback come right to him.
Loss of 2. It'll bring up 3rd and 9 now for Eisenhower. Back to their own 11-yard line. Once again, 3 receivers in the offensive set.
You're looking at the size advantage big number 78 on Eastmont's defense has over the center for Eisenhower.
It's amazing. Here's Cornegay now, quick hitter out in the flat, overshoots his intended receiver, Jordan Corbray. And that will be 3 and out quickly for the Cadets, a total of only 2 yards on that drive, and they will punt it away to the Wildcats.
Yeah, Eastmont should be looking to get some pretty good field position here. The ball's not going to fly so far here on the kick. You got Snyder out there lining up on the 50.
The ever-dangerous Devin Snyder at midfield, not what the Cadets want to see. And I wouldn't be surprised, Jay, if they don't even kick it to him right here with Guzman on to punt.
Yeah, he's pretty dangerous back there. So, yeah, look to see him try to get it on one of the sidelines.
Snap is good. Here's Guzman, and he's roughed. And that was pretty obvious there. The ball bounces at the 42, heads for the Ike sideline. It will be downed at the Eisenhower 49-yard line. The punter is still down. That's Jonathan Guzman.
He got hit pretty hard there.
He was hit by Dominic Torres, the sophomore defensive end. Didn't even look like Torres really let up at all either when he came at the punter. He just kind of
He was going to hit something, whether he hit the ball or the punter. He was going to make it some type of.
And this is going to be a first down for Ike as it keeps this drive alive for the Cadets. But you don't want to see it happen that way as Guzman, the punter, is still down on the field here at Wildcat Stadium.
That's one of those things that is defense. It kind of gets you a little bit frustrated. You start the game off, you get a 3 and out for your defense. It's getting the offense, the football back, and then you go and make a silly penalty like that. It really hurts you.
So true. This injury timeout is brought to you by Confluence Health, Wenatchee's premier treatment center for all sports-related injuries. Guzman remains on the field. We'll take a quick timeout as well. 8:04 left to go first quarter. No score between Eastmont and Eisenhower. We're back with more from Wildcat Stadium after this. Guzman did walk off the field, but still favored that right leg. Hopefully he will return, and that means first down and 10 for the Cadets after that roughing the kicker penalty. Cadets have it at their own 27-yard line. Here's Shields right up the middle. Did get a couple and then met a couple of Wildcats right at the 30-yard line.
Good hard run there, but there's just no openings there. Eastmont's defense is getting a lot of penetration there on the offensive line.
Once again, Braden Johnson, Jay, one of the players first in on that tackle. Gain of about 3.
Eastmont's got some size on their defensive line here that's going to be able to help shut down this running game.
Once again, Cornegay at quarterback in shotgun. 2 receivers, bottom of the screen. 1 receiver at the top of the screen. That's Reyes, and he's the dangerous receiver out there on man coverage at the top of your screen. 7:20 left to go first quarter, and that's it for the play clock. It has expired. That will be a delay of game penalty on the Cadets. So it was a 2nd and 8, will now be a 2nd and 13 for Eisenhower.
Well, they've got this new drive. They're going to need to start taking advantage of it. Those kind of penalties aren't what you want when you just got a free drive right back to you.
Yeah, it was a gift, that's for sure, a roughing the kicker. And that was no way even near running into the kicker. That was roughing that time.
Most definitely. And you just got to learn, on special teams. It's all about controlling the field of play. And so you're kind of sacrificing that ability to do so when you're just going and getting a penalty like that.
Here's Reyes now, bottom of the screen as Cornegay back to pass, and it's a screen to Shields out on the far flat. He's corralled quickly as he crosses the 25 to around the 28-yard line, and a nice tackle once again by Brett Womack, the inside linebacker.
Real nice job of shedding the block there and still keeping your head on a swivel and being able to make the tackle like that. It's pretty impressive.
Gain of about 4 on that play brings up 3rd down and long now for Eisenhower. 3rd and 9, ball at their own 27-yard line. I'll make it 28-yard line. 6.5 minutes left to go in this opening period. Still no score from Wildcat Stadium. Cornegay, shotgun, claps his hands, now looks right, going that way. A floater along the sideline. It's caught, but out of bounds. A lot of contact over there too, Jay. But
sure was. It might have been that, it was just going to be, uncatchable inbounds, but that looked like it might have been a little one-handed snap there.
Right. Wesley McElwain, the sophomore for Eastmont, back there on coverage. And that will force the Cadets to punt. As you said, Jay, missed out and didn't take advantage of a gift that they were handed on that penalty 1st down.
Eastmont's defense looking stiff, so.
And we got to remember now, it's the backup punter in there, Jay. Guzman was injured. Snap's good. Here's the kick, and it's a wobbly low kick. Snyder lets it bounce. He probably shouldn't have done that as it goes inside the 30, almost all the way down to the Eastmont 25. And it will be down there, and Eastmont will take over.
Well, when the football's spinning sideways, it's kind of just better to let it go. Those things are hard to catch. It's like a knuckleball flying at you.
Well, that's a good point, too. A lot can happen with a ball like that, no doubt about that.
What's nice is when you got the punters that put those nice spirals on it, those are fairly easy to catch. But when it's spinning sideways, it's not easy.
Sports on the NCW Life Channel is also brought to you by the First Choice Collision Center, Heritage Memorial Chapel, and Wenatchee Racket and Athletic Club, The Rack. And we thank you, a big thank you to all of our sponsors. Eastmont now, 2nd drive of the ball game from their own 25-yard line. Handoff up the middle. And legs churning, that has got to be Manny Lopez, even though I can't see the number. I just know it is. And almost a 1st down as Lopez kept those legs churning.
As a coach, you love seeing the way that running back, when he puts 2 hands on the ball like that and just hits the hole and just keeps his legs churning, he ended up picking up another 3 yards after the first contact.
A total gain of 9 for Lopez on that carry, and almost a 1st down, brings up 2nd and short. And boy, does that open up the playbook, doesn't it, Jay? 2nd down. And only about a yard, not even a yard to go, about a foot right up to the 35-yard line. Massey's going to be under center this time. Lopez right behind him. Wouldn't be surprised if he sees it again, and he won't. It's going to be Scaramazzino coming from the middle to the outside, and a nice tackle. And I don't know if Scaramazzino got there, Jay. A nice tackle by Jaden Corbray, the cornerback.
Yeah, it was a good job on the corner there, standing him up, making sure that he wasn't going to be able to drive through, but it looks like they are going to pick up the 1st down.
Boy, give him a yard then, and that's about it. 1st down and 10 for the Wildcats at their own 35-yard line. 5.5 minutes left now to go in the 1st quarter. Still no score. Eastmont on their 2nd possession of the ball game. As Massey looks like under center again. Simpson will split out wide near screen. Schneider at the top of the screen, where he's been most of the season, and that's in the slot. Lopez in the backfield. Fake to him. No, it's given to Lopez. He never goes down from that first hit, as Jay mentioned, and what turned into, it should have been a 2 or 3 yard gain, is about a 5-yard gain for Manny Lopez.
That seems like one of those things that he might earn that ability in the weight room. He's got some powerful legs, and he just keeps those legs turning. It's hard to bring him down.
And he's one of the few kickers, Jay, that I've ever seen. When he kicks off, a lot of times he'll make the tackle as well, and you don't see
really
that every
impressive.
day.
Yeah, unbelievable talent to be able to do 2 different things on kickoff like that.
2nd and 5 now for Eastmont at their own 40-yard line, trying to keep this drive moving with Lopez still in the backfield. This time the give is to Scaramazzino. Cuts it back up center of the field. Now he's on the outside. He's got room. Look out. 40-yard line. 35. 30. Still on his feet. He's going to go. 10-5. Touchdown Wildcats.
Incredible.
60 yards on that run for Cameron Scaramazzino. And Eastmont strikes first. What a run by Scarmazzino, and he's been doing that the last 3 or 4 weeks, Jay.
Well, it looked like the pulling guard there got a nice block on the strong side linebacker there, and it really opened up that hole. And then he had just, one broken tackle, and then he's gone.
Such a well-designed play, too, and it's worked a lot for the Wildcats this year. That fake to Lopez up the middle and that counter to Scarmazzino, and it's 6 points for the Wildcats as Lopez now on to try the point after. As the pink balloons are released here at Eastmont High School. High snap, Snyder gets it down, the kick right through the middle by Lopez, and it's good. 4:27 left to go here. First quarter, Eastmont 7, Eisenhower nothing. This is Wildcat football on the NCW Life Channel. 4 minutes, 27 seconds left to go. First quarter, that Eastmont scoring drive, only 5 plays that went 75 yards, highlighted by a 60-yard Cameron Scarmazzino run. Point after attempt good by Lopez, and we're at 7-0 as Lopez gets set to kick off now to the Cadets. Drew Reyes back deep along with Jaden Corbray for Ike. Kick is low, takes a bounce. Maybe should have let that one go. Corbray takes it, has some room on the outside, and then a nice tackle at about the 25-yard line. And the Cadets will begin their second possession of the football game at their own 25.
That's big Brett Womack getting the tackle there on special teams.
We've got another Cadet down, it looks like, too, Jay. It's Drew Nyberg. Plays both ways for these Cadets, linebacker and tight end. And that's a pretty big blow right there if he's injured for Eisenhower, still down on the field.
Yeah, it's a big body. He's pretty important.
Once again, this injury timeout is brought to you by our friends at Confluence Health, Wenatchee's premier treatment center for all sports-related injuries. So already Guzman out of the game, the senior punter and kickoff man for these Cadets. He's out, and now the senior linebacker and tight end is down as well, Drew Nyberg.
Yeah, it's one of those things, maybe they're still a little stiff coming off the bus, playing in the cold, and it's been a long trip to come down here.
That's true. We'll take a timeout as well. 4 minutes, 22 seconds left to go here in the opening quarter. It's Eastmont 7 and Eisenhower nothing. We're back with more from Wildcat Stadium right after this. The Cadets now back on offense. First down and 10. 4 minutes, 22 seconds left to go first quarter. As Cornegay back into shotgun again. Trips left receivers, and Cornegay's going to keep it on a quarterback draw. And not going to go too far, maybe 2 or 3 yards on that keeper. Keep in mind, Cornegay, though, Jade, not that big a quarterback at 5'8", 150 pounds. He's going up against a pretty big defensive line for the Wildcats.
They sure are, and he was trying to use his running back there to kind of hide himself, sneak in there behind the line. He ended up picking up a few.
Did pick up 4 on that quarterback keeper. Brings up second down and 6 now for the Cadets. Split 2 receivers at the bottom of the screen, 2 at the top as well. So 4 receivers in this offensive set with Shields in the backfield for Eisenhower. Cornegay shotgun. Eastmont blitzing on the right side. Can't get to Cornegay. He steps up in the pocket, throws a dart, but it's not caught on the far side. You got it, Jay. Big shot over there by Victor Welton, the outside linebacker for Eastmont. Jarred that one loose. And that'll go incomplete for the Cadets, bring up third down and 6. Boy, the pass was there too, Jay, but that hit really changed that play.
It's pretty hard to bring that down when you're getting hit by 2 guys at the same time and they're hitting you hard.
So Shields stays in the backfield along with Cornegay for the Cadets. Once again, 4 receivers in this offensive set. Trips right side. That's the top of your screen. Here's the snap, and then once again a keeper by Cornegay. Tries to get to that first down yardage. He may have gotten there to the 35.
Oh, this is going to be close. I mean, that's right on the line. That's where the yardage markers are sitting.
I think they're going to give it to him, and they do. 6 yards on that carry, just what they needed, Jay, as you mentioned. And Cornegay, not just a good passer, like I said, second in the league, also a pretty good runner and amongst the top quarterbacks in the Big 9 in rushing at only 150 pounds. So first down at 10, Cadets, 3:15 now left in the first quarter. 4 receivers stay out there as Cornegay in shotgun. He's going deep down right sideline. He's got Snyder, and Snyder can't hold on to it as the receiver, Reyes, ended up playing defender there. And he jarred that ball loose from Snyder as both players went down to the turf.
Yeah, right in the fingertips, just wasn't able to hold on to it right as he hit the ground. It just kind of popped out.
What a great throw again, really, by Cornegay. And Reyes, his favorite target, just couldn't bring that in, and we got a penalty on Eastmont, and it's a big one. Roughing the quarterback, it looks like, Jay, on the Wildcats, and that hurts.
I didn't see it, but yeah, it's a big call because that's,
Came on third down and 6 right there.
That would have been, Eastmont would have gotten the ball back.
Not like all the way up to midfield, first down and 10. That's the second big penalty. One was on special teams, and now this big one on defense.
So they're running some type of wildcat here. That's not Carnegie in there at quarterback.
No, it's not. That is Jaden Corbray, the receiver. He drops the ball, picks it back up, and this is going to be a huge loss of about 7 yards all the way back to the Eisenhower 43.
And that's an interesting call there. You got a wide receiver coming in for a little wildcat-style offense, but he's got both the gloves on, and the ball just slips out right when he's going into his passing motion. I wonder if they'll go back to that.
I was going to say, I'll be surprised if we see that wildcat again here in this game. Loss of 7. Now second down and 17 for the Cadets as Cornegate goes back into his regular quarterback position. Trips bottom of the screen this time. One receiver up top. Here's a quick hitter out in the slant, out in the flat. Good catch and good run after the catch all the way up to midfield in the original line of scrimmage. So that's a gain of 7 for the Cadets, and a nice catch by Tony Barajas, 5'10", 175-pound senior. Drew Cornegay seems to be throwing the ball around pretty well tonight. The cold doesn't seem to affect him so much.
Well, what they're trying to do is trying to get big completion downfield. Haven't been able to get it yet, but that doesn't mean they won't.
Big third down and 11 now, really, for both teams, especially the Cadets. They need to keep a drive moving here, down 7-0. Cornegay shotgun with Shields in the backfield. Back to pass, takes a 4-step drop, looks left side. Now he's flushed out of the pocket, still scrambling. Throws to the right side, and I think he's just trying to get rid of it, and he does. Pretty smart play by the senior quarterback, or junior quarterback, I should say. And that will bring up fourth down for the Cadets.
Yeah, good job of Eastmont's defensive line. I mean, they just came flying after him, didn't give him any time to set up in the pocket there.
Well, I'll tell you, big Braden Johnson's already had a good first quarter here tonight, Jay, with a couple of stops on the run, solo tackles, and now that pressure.
Yeah, when you hear
and it's
those
senior night, what else would you expect, right?
Well, one thing about senior night is you see a lot of guys who, don't always, this is the night that they bring it. Really good opportunity to show off their skills, last big senior night.
Good news here, Jay. That's Guzman back on to punt. Was injured earlier in the period, and Snyder fair catches it at about the 25-yard line. So good news that Guzman is back, and Eastmont will take over once again the second time right at their own 25-yard line. The last time they started at the 25, it was a touchdown. So we'll see if they could do that again here on senior night with 2:02 left to go in the first quarter. Pretty quick-moving first quarter. Not a lot of penalties. A couple of injuries.
Football a lot, which keeps the clock moving.
That's true, too. First and 10 Wildcats. Scaramazino in the backfield. Massey will go under center. And he drew a bunch of Cadets off. In fact, I think the entire defensive line of Eisenhower jumped on that hard count by Kalen Massey. And that should give Eastmont a first down and 5.
Well, defensive line coaches are furious about that because they have 4 guys that are all just a handful of feet away from the football. You got to watch the football, not what the quarterback's saying.
And if I'm a coach right now, Jay, which I'm obviously not, I try something down the field here. First down and 5. It's a great time to do it. Ball's at your 30-yard line.
Well, that goes back to that play action we were talking about.
Right.
They're going to be watching Scaramazino, so they'll be hesitating on those passing routes.
He's in the backfield. Handoff goes to him around that left side. Keeps his legs moving across the 35 up to the 37, and that will be enough for a first down. Gain of 7 when it looked like nothing for Scaramazino. So Eastmont has it now at their own 37-yard line. First down and 10 with 1:55 left to go in our opening period. 7-0 Wildcats lead it. Both teams here trying to get their first Big 9 victory of this season. Eastmont at 2-4 overall, and Ike at 2-3.
The first and 10, maybe run the ball here, but I'm expecting they might go with their classic mixed direction kind of thing.
Kind of a counter action, and they do give it to Snyder out of the backfield. Breaks the first tackle, tries to spin out of another one and can't, and will still get about a 3-yard gain for Devin Snyder over the left side. Wait till he breaks loose, and I have a feeling that's going to happen at some point tonight as well.
Yeah, I think he might have, but there was a defender who had kind of gone down but grabbed his ankle and just kind of held on. You can't get away when somebody grabs you and kind of anchors you down.
Devin Snyder playing in his last home football game here at Eastmont High School, and what a great career he's had, Jay. Devin Snyder, 2nd down and 7, minute left to go, first quarter. Scarmazzino in the backfield along with Snyder as Simpson looks to the sideline. Looks like Scarmazzino, Jay, I correct myself, maybe split out, looks like in the slot. Knighton is in there now.
Yeah, normally that's where they have Schneider at, so they kind of mix it up a little bit.
Counter play goes to Schneider. No, it doesn't. It goes up the middle to Knighton. Looks like a short gain of about 2. That's the first carry, I think, for Jack Knighton tonight, isn't it, Jay?
I found him down for a couple other rushes.
Oh, really? I just got it wrong and said Scar. They look so similar out there.
Yeah,
They're about
sure
the
do.
same
Well,
size.
It's 23 and 24, so
right.
it's easy to get those two mixed up. What I noticed with Knighton is he's got that long hair.
That does kind of separate them. It does. So 3rd down and 3 now for the Wildcats. Ball just shy of their own 45-yard line. This is a big 3rd down play. We might not. It looks like we will get it off. 10 seconds on the game clock, 5 on the play clock. Massey under center. We will get it off. Here's the misdirection, and it's Scarmazzino, and he's got room around the edge again. Good block, and he's going to get flagged for it, though. I'm not sure why. It wasn't a clip. It may have been a hold, Jay.
It looked like 71 there had his hand on the collar and just was hanging on a little too much jersey there.
Boy, it's too bad, too. It really sprung Scarmazzino for a big gain, and the balloons were kind of wasted here on that run. But I guess that maybe is what's supposed to happen at the end of the first quarter, which is where we are right here at Wildcat Stadium. Our score from Wildcat Stadium, Eastmont 7 and Eisenhower nothing. This is Wildcat football on the NCW Life Channel. We're back with the second quarter right after this. Grant Olson along with Jay Seebeck back at Wildcat Stadium. Just the start of the second quarter. And Eastmont leading this one 7-0. Low-scoring affair, at least so far. And the only scoring play was a 60-yard touchdown run by the Wildcats' Cameron Scarmazzino on a beautiful run. And Eastmont with the football right now, facing 3rd down and 9 from their own 38-yard line. Here's that misdirection again to Snyder. Tries up the middle of the field, crosses the 40. Going to be well short of the first down, though, as he's marked down at the 41.
Well, leave it to Eastmont. They run in a no-back set and still end up running the football.
And that'll bring Manny Lopez onto the field for his second punt of the ball game on a 4th down and 7. And back deep is Drew Reyes for the Eisenhower Cadets. Just underway, second quarter. Great to have you along on this crisp, cool autumn night here at Wildcat Stadium. Hard to believe there's only 3 games left in the season after this. It's been a fast season. Good snap to Lopez. Flag comes flying in, and a beautiful spiral punt. It sends Reyes all the way back to the 20. Stiff arms, gets away from this first tackler, and we've got a block there, and that's going to be an illegal block. And another flag comes flying in late, Jay. I think we're going to have a couple of illegal blocks against the Cadets on this run back.
Well, they might get negated. It looked like Eastmont might have flinched there, but we've got flags all over the field right now, so we'll see what happens.
Heck of a block by that cadet that drew the first flag.
You know, it's one of those things. It's really hard as a punt blocker or as a on the return when you have your returner runs 30 yards sideways, and it's really hard to get the corner on those blocks because
it invites a lot of bad things to happen.
Yeah.
It really does.
Rarely does it end up being the block that breaks the play open. It just keeps moving you backwards. But we'll see what these calls end up being.
The referee's still huddled up at around the 25-yard line. And I think we may see offsetting penalties here.
The false start on Eastmont.
So an offside on the false start on the punt. Then it's got to be that illegal block against Ike. We might be doing this all over again, Jay.
I think we will.
Coach Don wants to know what the heck's going on. He's halfway out on the field. Well, not halfway, but he's out on the field.
Oh, yeah, he's got to stay close. They're cracking down on that as officials more and more in all levels of football, keeping everybody who's not supposed to be on the field off the field.
Well, I don't think he agrees with that false start call for one thing, and that was called really late, although there is a flag well back to where the line of scrimmage was. So looks like we're going to do this again as Manny Lopez trots back out onto the field along with the special teams punting unit for Eastmont.
Well, if he can put off, consistently punt the ball like that.
That was a beauty right there.
About 40 yards in the air. I mean, that's about as good as you can ask for.
Probably what he's thinking too, Jay. Man, I just kicked it 40 yards. Perfect. Now it'll be off the side of his foot. That'd be my kind of luck.
Yep.
Not quite a minute gone here in the second quarter. 11:04 left to go. Eastmont, if you're just joining us, leading it 7-0 here on senior night at Eastmont High School.
Still taking a long time to get them figured out what they're doing here.
When the ball should be back at the original line of scrimmage, shouldn't it, Jay? Here's the calls again. Yeah. False start on Eastmont. Then an illegal block on Eisenhower was right in front of us. I think he's trying to say the penalty's offset and we're back to where we were, but it looks like they will move it back a little, though, Jay.
Well, last time we were here is that the
from
return...
a 4th and 7 to a 4th and 11, so Eastmont ended up losing 5 yards on that.
Okay.
Don't see how that works out, but...
Well, last time the return man for Ike, he was lined up on the 30, and even with the 5 yards that they're taking off of Eastmont, he still moved another 5 yards back after the last punt.
I don't doubt that as Drew Reyes once again goes back to receive the kick, and Jay mentioned he's about at the 24-yard line. Referee still trying to get things figured out here. I'm not sure what the big holdup is, but Eastmont a couple of men short, too. They run them on the field here late. Tonga's one of them. Let's see if we're ready to play some football.
Yeah, we're all starting to itch, getting ready for it. It's been a little bit of a long delay.
Well, here we go, Jay. And this seems more like it. I mean, it was a 4th and 7. We're back to the original line of scrimmage where it should be. Not sure why Eastmont was penalized when they had a false start and an illegal block is more of a severe penalty. It just didn't make sense.
Well, yeah, it'd be a 5-yard false start and then a 15-yard on the block. So
we're back to a 4th and 7, right back to the 41-yard line. We're going to do this again. Heck, it's Groundhog Day here at Wildcat Stadium. Lopez back to punt. We'll see if he can do it again. Another beauty, not quite as far this time, though. Reyes lets it bounce, takes a good Ike bounce, and then down. Good heads-up play at about the 31-yard line, so Ike will begin there on this, their third drive of the ball game. First two have resulted in punts for Ike. We'll see if they can put something together here with 10:55 left to go here in the first half.
I would expect that Eisenhower is going to, start getting over this run game and start passing the ball. I mean, Carnegie really hasn't been putting up those numbers that you kind of expect for him yet, so expect them to start airing it out.
And you said it, Jays. 73 of 131 is Carnegie on the season. 9 interceptions, 7 touchdowns, and 842 yards, which is good for second in the Big Nine. They've only played 5 games, so this kid can throw it. We've seen some throws on the money, but it's been good Eastmont defense that's kind of snuffed out drives for the Cadets so far tonight.
It sure has, and they're running out with a spread, even 2 on each side, so...
4 receivers out there. Once again, Cornegay at quarterback from shotgun and nothing doing for the running back this time, and it's not Shields.
That is Hayden Nyberg.
Hayden Nyberg with the carry. Maybe picks up a yard. I don't think he did. I think he just got back to the original line of scrimmage, so no gain, and it brings up 2nd down and 10 for the Cadets.
Not a big running back there. He's only 5'9", 170. He gets getting in there with Tonga, and it's going to be tough to get past that guy.
Wonder if there's something wrong with the starting running back, Shields. As this time trips on the top of the screen, 1 receiver, bottom of the screen, and we've got movement, and I think it's on the Wildcats. That's, I believe, the sophomore linebacker, Dominic Torres, that jumped a little bit early, and Eastmont, it'll cost him 5 yards and bring up 2nd down now and 5 for the Cadets.
Eisenhower's struggling to move the football right now. He can't be giving them those free yards to get into it.
Cornegay shotgun again. 3 receivers, far side of the field. And 1 at the bottom with, once again, Hayden Nyberg staying in the backfield. The give is to Nyberg, and once again, he is stuffed right at the line of scrimmage, and that is how you tackle. Once again, Braden Johnson, one of the first ones there. He is playing a heck of a ball game from his nose tackle position. No gain once again on that.
Well, he's having a pretty good matchup in his favor going against the smaller center there. So he's been able to use that to his advantage and start hitting the hole right where they're giving it to him.
3rd and 5 now for the Cadets, and the 5 yards they did gain was from an penalty by the Wildcats. Otherwise, no gains on 2 offensive plays. 9.5 minutes left second quarter. Cornegay shotgun. Once again, Nyberg in the backfield. 4 receivers again in the offensive set. And Cornegay's going deep near sideline. He's got a receiver and misses it. Looked like there was a little contact maybe at about the 35. No call there.
A little contact, but, he was kind of getting beat. If you had a half second more, you think that Reyes might take that. So pretty good job on the defender there to break up that pass.
Good matchup with Wesley McElwain and Reyes. As McElwain, the sophomore, has done one heck of a job.
Isn't that tough? You know, you come in as a sophomore, and all of a sudden, you know, I'm facing one of the top guys in the league. You know, how am I going to play this? And you got to play him tough.
Absolutely. Jonathan Guzman back to punt for the Cadets. Devin Snyder waits at his own 22-yard line for the kick for the Wildcats. Good snap. Here's Guzman. He gets a nice punt away. Kind of a wobbly high kick. Fair catch called for by Snyder at the 26-yard line. And that's where the Eastmont Wildcats will begin their next possession. Fourth one of the ball game. 7-0 our score as we dip under 9 minutes now left to go. Ball will be placed at the 27.
Now, Eastmont doesn't need to do anything fancy now. Their defense is playing lights out. They just need to maintain the football, give their defense a break so they can keep firing on all cylinders like they've been doing.
Because really, Jay, neither offense has really established anything. We've had a long run for a touchdown, and that's been about it offensively.
Well, that's one thing you got to worry about if you're Eisenhower is Scarmazzino's big play capability. He might not be a chip away at you kind of back, but he'll bust it open.
I agree. He's back in the backfield along with Jack Knighton, Simpson at the bottom of the screen, and Devin Snyder in the slot. Here's the snap, and it's a counter play to Scarmazzino looking for some blocks, tries to get to the outside. He can't, and a nice tackle over there after a gain of only 1.
A lot of white jerseys flocking to the ball there.
That was Adam Unser, the defensive back on the stop for the Cadets. 1 yard for Scarmazzino. Second down and 9 now for Eastmont with 8:23 left to go before halftime.
Looking at the scheme, I mean, you're thinking about the size of the linebacking crew for Eisenhower. Try keeping it within the tackles so that gives your linemen a chance to start getting into that second line of defense.
Boy, notice how the defensive back's playing way up, too, on the Wildcats right now. Handoff goes right up the middle to Lopez this time, and you're almost guaranteed 3 or 4 when you hand it off to him, and we'll give him 4 on that. And that'll bring up 3rd down and 5 now for the Wildcats.
That's one thing I really like about watching Manny Lopez is he gets the ball, and he's not trying to do anything fancy with it. He knows what he's trying to accomplish, and he gets it done.
And the first tackler rarely brings him down. It's so impressive. And he falls forward, so there's a yard or 2 right there just about every time. All right, 3rd down and 5, Wildcats. Simpson, bottom of the screen. Snyder at the top of the screen, once again in the slot.
Simpson's getting a lot of room there on the edge. You might want to see him try getting it to him.
Fake handoff, play action.
Wide
Down
open.
the field, it's Snyder. Great pass by Massey. The 20, and inside the 20, down to the Eisenhower 18-yard line. And that ball was on a rope to Devin Snyder, far sideline.
It's about a 50-yard completion right there, and a pitching catch.
Just when we talked about opening it up maybe a little bit, those defensive backs playing up, Devin Snyder with his athletic ability and speed was able to get behind the defender. That ball was right on the money.
I'm not sure where Eisenhower safeties were on that one, but you had 2 wide open Eastmont receivers down the field.
Wildcats now inside the Ike red zone at the 19-yard line, and a timeout is called. We'll take one as well. 7:10 left to go, second quarter. It's Eastmont 7, Eisenhower nothing. Back with more after this. 7:10 left second quarter. Eastmont with the football, first down at 10. The handoff goes to Snyder, found an opening, but it quickly closes at the 15-yard line, but not after a gain of 5 for Snyder over the left side. And that'll bring up 2nd down and 5 now for the Wildcats at the Eisenhower 15.
Eastmont's line starting to move Eisenhower players around. I would expect, they got the lead right now, a big passing play. Expect them to keep pounding the football here as they are in the red zone.
Been a pretty good drive, too, for the Eastmont, taking up about 2.5, maybe 3 minutes on this drive, and only 5 plays so far. Massey this time in shotgun with Lopez in the backfield with him. Scarmazzino, top of the screen, watch him. Handoff to the keeper. It's not a handoff, and Massey is stacked up for a loss of about 2. Eisenhower not fooled by that play. That'll bring up now a 3rd down situation. 3rd down and about 8 for Eastmont.
Well, Simpson's still getting put out on that island, and the cornerback's giving him 5-6 yards off the get-go. Why not take a shot at the end zone here?
Well, I agree, especially 6'4", 170 pounds. He's got a lot of height out there. Just a floater in the corner of the end zone to Simpson. We'll see if that happens. This time, Scarmazzino comes out with Simpson. Bottom of the screen. Snyder stays in the slot, top of the screen. Lopez in the backfield. Massey out of shotgun, fake to Lopez, and it was a slant. Scaramazino, the pass looked to be there, but maybe heard a footstep or two that time, Jay. I'm not sure, and it goes incomplete. And that brings up fourth down.
Walking up on you like that, and you're going to be starting to notice them. You see them out of the corner of your eye, and you just don't want to get rocked until you end up forgetting about catching the ball.
It's like we might see a field goal attempt here, Jay. And I think we will. Ball is spotted. Let's see, at the 17-yard line. Be about a 35-yarder or 25-yarder.
Well, so far in his punts, Lopez has been kicking the ball well, so see if you can translate that over to his kicking game.
Manny Lopez has connected on a couple of field goals this season. We'll see if he can do it here. Ball in the middle of the field. And this 25-yard attempt, it's a line drive, and I don't think it made it through. It didn't, and it will be no good. 5:38 left to go, second quarter. It's Eastmont 7 and Eisenhower nothing. Back with more right after this on the NCW Life Channel. 5 minutes, 38 seconds left to go, second quarter. First down and 10 for Ike. The handoff is...
Ooh, big tackle. That's Tonga.
Finally, we've been talking about it tonight, but there he is, Nyberg on the carry, and nowhere to go there.
That was a big hit. I mean, that's getting through the hole and just planting the running back. Nyberg's going to be, he might be feeling a little bit of that one tomorrow.
Not going to want anything to do with Tonga, that's for sure. That brings up second down and 10 now for the Cadets.
Well, I wouldn't want to be going up against any of these defensive linemen for Eastmont. They're pretty good for a bunch of high school boys.
I want to say welcome to our live broadcast of Wildcat football here on the NCW Life Channel. Great to have you with us, and look at that tackle. That is Brett Womack from his inside linebacker position. He's had one heck of a first half.
Whether it's special teams or on defense, he's making sure he's getting on the ball carrier and hitting them hard.
So a recap of what's happened so far. We got 4:45 left in the second quarter. Eastmont scored on their second possession on a 60-yard touchdown run by Cameron Scaramazino. The point after try was good by Lopez, and that's where we sit right now at 7-0. Wildcats on top. Ike facing a third down and 10 now. Nyberg in the backfield with the quarterback Cornegay. He's going deep. He's got Reyes downfield at about the 42-yard line. And what a throw.
That was a
38 yards on that reception from Cornegay to Reyes. And that is the biggest offensive play so far tonight by the Cadets. Trailing this one 7-0 as we are winding down this first half.
Expect them to go back to that play. They're going to try to get Reyes hot and get him moving.
Well, Cornegay can throw the football, that's for sure. He's got it out of shotgun, hands it off to Nyberg instead, and a nice gain up near the Eastmont 35-yard line. We'll give him about 7 on that. Still no word on what happened to Weldon Shields, the starting fullback. He played most of the first quarter, and then we haven't seen him since late in the first quarter. As Nyberg stays in there. Second down and 6 for the Cadets. Here's Nyberg and a great tackle at the 35-yard line. Guess who? Braden Johnson, once again from his tackle position, makes the stop, which I think, Jay, would have been an easy first down without that tackle. Instead, a 2-yard gain.
Well, Johnson using his weight there, all he's got to really do is put a good amount of body on him, and he's going to bring down any running back in this league.
Third down and 3 now for the Cadets, with 3:22 clock moving here left in the second quarter. Cornegay stays in shotgun, rolls to his right, looks that way, now just flings it over the middle of the field, and it's caught nicely for a first down. What a catch by Tony Barajas.
Just picked it right off the ground there. That was
I think Cornegay was basically just getting rid of that one.
Yeah, dangerous pass there. Snyder was coming over the middle. I mean, if he had floated that just a little bit more, it would have been trouble. But
gain of about 7 on that. And that'll be a first down and 10 for the Cadets, trying to tie this one up as we near 3 minutes now left before halftime. Drew Reyes, one of the top receivers in the Big Nine at the bottom of your screen. Nyberg at fullback. He stays in there and gets the handoff, hit hard at the 25, then falls forward for a couple. And finally wrestled down at the Eastmont 23-yard line. Gain of 5 that time for Nyberg. And he's playing pretty well, isn't he, Jay, in relief, I guess you could say, of Shields.
Yeah, coming in relief and just starting to get warm. I think he was a little bit cold coming in there for first few snaps, but now he looks like he's got it going and is in the game.
Here we go with the 4 receiver set again for the Cadets. As Cornegay in shotgun. Looks to the right side. He's going that way, too. Receiver makes the catch inside the 20 at the 19. Won't be enough for a first down. In fact, it'll be marked at the 18, so about a half-yard short. Gain of 4 on that pass and catch to Jaden Corbray.
Well, Eisenhower, if they can move the chains here, they're going to have a nice setup to be going on the 15 with first and down.
Inside the Eastmont 20 now. Corbray, the handoff. Cornegay, I should say. And I think that will be enough for a Cadet first down. Just enough. Needed about 1.5 yards. Got 2.
It's pretty hard to move it against that defensive line for Eastmont, but they were able to manage there. It doesn't look like they're going to move the chain.
Boy, they didn't give him a good spot there at all, did they? 4th down. And the Cadets are going for it here. 4th and gosh, it can't even be a half a yard here, Jay. Cornegay shotgun, hands it off, Nyberg, and does he get there? I don't know if he did. What a defensive stop by the Eastmont Wildcats, and will this be a momentum changer if they do hold him? And they did, I think, Jay. First down, Eastmont.
Eastmont's defense is playing with a lot of fire right now. They weren't about to let them take that half yard from them.
Jay, at the end of this game, we may be talking about this play right here as a play that really changed this thing around. I know it's, not much time left in this first half, but boy, is that a momentum changer. Cadets fighting for points this first half and a big defensive stop for the Wildcats.
Yeah, look to see Eastmont. They only have 1:22 here, so go ahead and just kind of run the football and keep the ball under control.
2 timeouts remaining. Handoff up the middle. Look out, it's Knighton, and he's free. 50, drops the football. It's still rolling on the turf. Who's got it? Still loose. It looks like maybe Barajas got it. And it will be Cadet football. How about that? Knighton with about a 50-yard run loses control of it at about the 40. It rolls down to the 30 and then recovered by Ike at their own 28-yard line.
Really nice job on whoever was the tackler there to make sure that he's punching the football as he's wrapping up. And it's really hard when you got a guy coming up behind you like that and they just punch it out. It's really hard to hold on.
And you knew it was premeditated, Jay. He knew he had the speed to catch Knighton. So now he's thinking, I'm going to get that football loose. And that's exactly what happened. And what a break for Eisenhower there.
Real heads-up play there.
Great call by Eastmont, too, to get Knighton free there. I was faked out, too. So now it's the Cadet football with 1:09 left, and they have all 3 timeouts left here in this first half. Cornegay back to pass, flushed out of the pocket, and then gets hit behind the line of scrimmage, and it's Braden Johnson, one of them there. Also, I think the sophomore linebacker Torres.
Yeah, Dominic Torres there.
And he's going to be a good one. I really believe he is.
Yeah, Eastmont's got a lot of young players on their defense, which is promising for the future because they're hanging in with pretty much any team they go against. They've been big time on defense so far this year.
So no gain on that play as Cornegay did manage to get back to the line of scrimmage, brings up 2nd down and 10. Clock still moving. Ike's not even attempting to stop it at 30 seconds right now. Here's Nyberg with a bit of a hole, keeps his feet and plows his way up to the 34-yard line. That'll be a gain of 6 for Ike there, and it looks like we will have a timeout. No, a flag is down. That stops the clock with 26 seconds left, and we've got a hold on the Cadets. I don't think Ike's going to worry about timeouts and trying to score now, moving back 10 yards.
Well, I mean, they do have the tools, so to speak, with Reyes on the outside if they were to, get a couple pitches and catches and then step out. But, yeah.
And we've seen Cornegay throw it down the field about 40 yards, but I don't know if they'll try it here or not. Maybe with now, 3 timeouts still left.
Well, you don't want to, put yourself in danger of throwing a pick 6 right here before half, so they might just run it out and then just get back to the locker room and rediscuss the strategy.
Cornegay shotgun. They're just going to hand it off. There's Shields back in the game now. Tonga gets a hold of him, though. I think that was behind the line of scrimmage, and that'll be a loss of 1, and that should do it here for our first half. 7 seconds left to go, and Ike not going to stop this one. 2 seconds, 1, and that will do it for our first half here at Wildcat Stadium. Big 9 matchup tonight on the NCW Life Channel between the Eastmont Wildcats and the Eisenhower Cadets. At the break, it's Eastmont 7 and Eisenhower nothing. We'll take a 2-minute timeout, and we'll come back with your halftime stats right after this. Today's sports broadcast is brought to you by Walkabout Grill in Wenatchee and Leavenworth. Take a walk on the wild side. And by Collins Fashions in downtown Wenatchee, real clothes for real women. And by Town Nissan, your local East Wenatchee Nissan dealer where honesty and transparency come first. And by Town Chrysler Jeep and Dodge, your Town Chrysler family store where people get nice surprises. And Jay, let's talk about keys to the second half, starting with the Eisenhower Cadets. What do they need to do to get back into this and maybe win this ball game?
Throw the football. I mean, that's what they're good at. And you've got, they've shown that they've, had the opportunities. Reyes has had some, difficulty with completing some of the catches. He had one big catch for about 40 yards. But other than that, Eastmont secondary is playing pretty stiff. So they just need to kind of try to break that open and try to really take advantage of the speed because Reyes has the speed to start burning guys down the field.
I couldn't agree with you more, Jay. Plus, Eisenhower, along with Eastmont, their defense has been playing pretty solid football as well. So if they can just keep their offense in it and let them get back out on the field and do something, that will be a key for Eisenhower's success, I think.
Eisenhower's going to need to make sure that they're not giving up the big plays. So far, they've given up 3 plays that have been, 40 yards or more. And so that's going to be something that they have to contain that, not let that happen, because that's what's hurting them offensively. Their offense isn't quite moving the football right. They need to be able to stop them on defense, not give up the big plays, and set yourself up in the special teams game, get some good field position, and then be able to make it a little easier on your offense to get in the end zone.
And Jay, your alma mater, Eastmont up 7-0 here on senior night. What do they need to do to maintain this lead and maybe even add to it?
Well, the defense needs to keep playing stiff and shutting them down. But on offense, they need to take care of the football. They're known to run the football, so, that's okay. You've got the lead. You're going to want to run the football in the situation, but they're not going to need to be sustaining drives. They can't just run it a few times and then, punt. So keeping the football under their possession is going to be key, and then wear out this Eisenhower defense.
I'm just thinking that myself, as this line has been so dominant, especially the defensive line of Eastmont, that they will, I think, eventually wear down this Ike offensive line. But, boy, you never know, as Ike will get the ball first, I believe, here in the second half. They deferred. They won the toss. And Eastmont's kickoff team is out on the field. Manny Lopez will do the kicking for Eastmont. And don't be surprised if he's down there and on the tackle at the end of this play either. We've seen that a few times this season. Very unusual. And going back deep to receive the kick will be Drew Reyes, and I think Tony Baraja also will go back with him.
Interesting skill set that Manny Lopez has. He runs the ball real hard downhill, kicks, and then he's also a great tackler on special teams. It's kind of a strange dynamic to see out of any player on a football field.
That's what you call an all-around football player right there. And he punts.
Yeah, and he punts.
That's right. Yeah. So here we go, ready for the second half. I know we are here on this Friday Night Lights here on NCW Life Channel. Eastmont and Eisenhower. Eastmont with the 7-0 lead. They will kick off, moving right to left this quarter. And Eisenhower moving left to right. Here's the kick by Lopez, more of a squib kick than anything. It kind of dies inside the 20, picked up by Barajas. And he gets about 2 yards up to the 22, and that's where Ike will begin their second half from their own 20-yard line. If he waited a little bit, that thing might have went out of bounds.
Well,
it was kind of heading this way.
But if he doesn't pick it up, then he's just going to get crushed anyway. So you might as well just pick it up and try to see what you can do with it. Smart to not try to do anything fancy, though.
So crushed is crushed, either way you look at it, huh, Jay?
Yeah.
1st and 10 for Ike. We'll see what the junior quarterback, Drew Cornegay, can get going for his offense here in this second half. And we'll see if Shields comes out in the backfield. We saw a lot of the backup running back Hayden Nyberg in that first half, and it will be Nyberg again to start the second half.
I'd like to see what Brett Womack's got going on here on defense, playing at that Mike linebacker position. He's been really leading the defense here so far.
He sure has. Screen to begin this second half. Nyberg, and he is hammered before he even gets a chance to make the reception by the junior strong safety Jordan Jessup on that stop, and a nice one for Eastmont. That'll be a loss of about 5, maybe even more than that, Jay, depending on where they mark it here, and it looks like it'll be just...
Oh, they're going to call it an incomplete pass.
Oh, they are. That's right. You got that, or I got that wrong. I can blame it on you, I guess, with
that's totally
11:15 left in the third. You'll take the blame, huh,
Yeah, sure.
Jay?
Just I like being up here in the booth, so.
It's a lot of fun. Second down and 10 now for Ike. Ball is at their own 22-yard line. Handoff. No, it's a fake to Nyberg, and Cornegay's going to keep it. He's done this a few times, and a nice gain, maybe enough for a first down, close to the 35-yard line, and he does have a first down. They'll mark him down at the 34, gain of 11 on that quarterback keeper. That's been a pretty successful play, too, in the first half for Ike. If they didn't have a lot of them, but that was one of them, that quarterback keeper.
Well, they run it in an interesting way where they run the fake to the running back, and then the quarterback just tucks it and runs right behind him and uses it almost like a fullback.
So it's not a full read option, but it's kind of a read option.
In a way. I think it's a little bit more quarterback designed for that.
Nothing I'm doing about that. That's Nyberg straight up the middle, and he had a head of steam as he crosses the 35, picks up 4 to the 37-yard line.
Yeah, he hit that hole hard. If he hadn't gotten brought down, I think he might have been going to the races there.
Got a little more speed than Shields in that backfield, doesn't he? I think that may be why he's back there. Shields a little more girth, more of a fullback than Nyberg is. Here we go, second down and 6 now for the Cadets. Drew Cornegay at quarterback, looks to the sideline for the play. 4 receivers again in the offensive set. I think that's been like that all night long. Trips down at the bottom of the screen. And the handoff again to Nyberg. Breaks the original tackle. He's still on his feet across midfield into Eastmont territory down to the 46-yard line. That'll be a gain of about 19 that time for Nyberg, who's having himself a ball game now in relief of Weldon Shields.
Well, he's already got here on those first 2 carries of the second half. He's got as many yards as he did in the first. So he's coming out of the locker room and he's ready to play some football now.
Head of steam when he gets that handoff for sure.
He's hitting the hole way harder now.
First and 10 Cadets now. Clock moving at 10.5 minutes left in the third quarter. And we had an Eastmont player, I believe, jump offside.
Yeah, it's one of those things as a defensive lineman, the way they do that that call for the offense where you have the linemen stand up and look to get a new call from the coach. Sometimes the defensive guys see that movement and they just jump.
Dominic Torres again, the guilty party, Jay, and he's had kind of a rough one tonight as far as penalties. A roughing the punter under his belt, and now this offside as Nyberg again straight ahead and first down. He gets 7 on that carry for the Cadets. And Ike has got something going here now, this first possession of the second half.
Well, Nyberg was showing that he was maybe a little bit afraid of these defensive linemen in the first half. He doesn't look like he's got any bit of fear trying to hit those holes.
And the offensive line doing a much better job here so far, too, making some holes for Nyberg, moving that big defensive line for the Wildcats out of position, and whistles sound and a timeout called. Don't think they wanted to call timeout here with 10:15 left in the third quarter. But Eastmont uses one of their 3 here in the second half. We'll take a quick one, too. 10 minutes, 15 seconds left to go in the third quarter. It's Eastmont 7 and Eisenhower nothing. We're back in 30 seconds. 10 minutes, 15 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Ike with the football in the Eastmont territory. First out of 10 at the Wildcat 35-yard line. As Eisenhower, this is the first possession of the second half, and they began all the way back at their 20-yard line. They're putting a pretty good drive on the board to begin this second half. Here's Cornegay's shotgun. Fake handoff. It's play action. Left side. Receiver double coverage. And is it picked off? It is by Jessup at the 3-yard line.
Big
and we've got
right
a flag down at the line of scrimmage. Let's see what this is. Braden Johnson trying to ask the official. He's not giving him information. Well, this could be a big penalty right here.
Eastmont's thinking they're getting the football, so it must be something against Eisenhower.
Illegal man downfield against Ike, and it will be an interception. Our second turnover of the ball game, 1 each now, as Eastmont fumbled in the first half, and now this interception. What a break for Eastmont as Ike was moving down the field, Jay, and that is a big break.
Well, one thing I was noticing that Ike came out different with their offensive scheme is that they were running 2 receivers spread out to the sides, which was making the Eastmont linebacker core. It was just Brett Womack playing there at middle linebacker, and he was the only second line of defense. And that's where I think they were getting the big runs with Nyberg, starting to utilize that spread offense.
Eastmont will have to adjust to that defensively here in this next possession. I'm sure they're talking it over now. Here we go, Eastmont, the first possession now of this second half with 10:08 left in the quarter. Handoff, it's a fake up the middle. There's Lopez still on his feet up to the 15. to the 16-yard line, and that, the 13-yard run on first down by Manny Lopez.
And that's what he does. He just puts his head down, and I mean, a lot of misdirection going there. And if you're looking one way, and then all of a sudden you see Manny Lopez barreling down in front of you, he's a hard guy to bring down.
He's amazing. He's got amazing leg strength, which would, I guess, explain why he's a kicker, because he's great at that. But boy, what a running back. 1st and 10 now, Wildcats. Massey under center. Looks like Manny Lopez and Scaramazino in the background. Handoff goes to Scaramazino, jukes around on the right side, but can't really find an opening. Back to the original line of scrimmage. And that'll be about it for Cameron Scaramazino, which will bring up 2nd down and 10.
Now, Eastmont doesn't need to worry too much about that. I mean, you never really want to go nowhere on first down, but they can keep running the football here. They want to keep eating up that clock, but they need to be moving the ball forward. Even they run it, they need to keep up that average yards of 3 or 4 times you carry it.
2nd and 10 for the Wildcats at their own 16-yard line. Once again, Lopez and Scaramazino in the backfield along with Massey. Handoff once again, Scaramazino, both hands over that football. And a nice gain just shy of the Eastmont 25 to about the 24. That'll be 3 yards short of a first down.
And that's Schneider there wearing that pink armband there in the breast cancer awareness that they've been doing here at Eastmont. A nice big pickup for him.
3rd down and 3 now for the Wildcats as they try and keep this drive alive. Ball up to their own 24-yard line. Simpson split out top of the screen wide. And this time Scaramazino down at the bottom of the screen in the slot. Handoff goes to Schneider, who does pick up the first down and more. Across the 26 is where they needed to go, up to the 29-yard line.
Well, do you think Coach Don there maybe had a little conversation with the running backs about keeping 2 hands on the ball? Each time I've seen them run the ball so far, they've got 2 hands on it. Even getting through that second level, they're keeping 2 hands on the football.
But you really can't blame Knighton for that fumble. When you're full-bore run, you're not going to have both hands on the ball. You're just trying to get to that end zone. So that really wasn't his fault. But you're right, though, Jay. I think it was brought up in the halftime locker room. 1st and 10, Wildcats. Ball at their own 29-yard line. Handoff goes to Lopez, still on his feet, and almost broke that tackle across the 40 to the 41-yard line. Gain of 12 for Manny Lopez and another Eastmont first down.
You don't really see Manny Lopez cut or spin or anything, but he grabs the football and he just goes straight forward.
And I'll tell you what, that was a saving tackle by Tony Barajas there, as Lopez had some open field in front of him.
Lopez is just one of those guys. I feel like you could put him on any position out there, and he's going to give it your all.
I agree. 6th play of this drive coming up for the Wildcats. Both teams a hot start offensively in this 3rd quarter. Here's Massey behind center. Hands off to Devin Snyder. Both hands over the football. Gets across the 46, and that'll be another gain of about 5, maybe 6 for the Wildcats. We'll give him 5 on that. Interesting for Eastmont, too, Jay. They've taken Snyder out of the slot and put him more as a running back, and now have moved Scaramazino into the slot, and that's kind of a role reversal for the two that we've seen almost all year long.
And while it doesn't seem like it's that big of a move, it's a huge defensive scheme changer, because now you're having to key different guys in different positions than you've been practicing on for the whole week.
Simpson split out top of the screen wide. Handoff fake. It's a play action over the middle of the field. The receiver's open and just overthrown. Almost caught there by Ruben Peck, the 6', 200-pound senior. Usually a linebacker on defense, but had a golden opportunity there for a big gain for the Wildcats. It goes incomplete.
And just couldn't quite get it. You got one hand on it, just one of those things, just a half step short.
Boy, what a great play action that was. A double fake to the running backs that time and a wide open Peck downfield. 3rd and 5, Eastmont. Ball remains at their own 46-yard line. Lopez and Snyder in the backfield. Here's Snyder, and he's got a big hole. He can take it. 30-yard line, 25. He's going to take it. 10. Touchdown, Wildcats. Devin Snyder, 55 yards.
He got a really nice block from his tight end there, and he just exploded from the backfield. There was really no chance that safety for Eisenhower was going to be able to catch him.
What a great block on the left side, as you mentioned, Jay, and that broke that hole open. Looks like we've got an injured Wildcat in the end zone, and it is Snyder. Boy, would that be a big injury for the Wildcats. And this injury timeout is brought to you by Confluence Health, Wenatchee's premier treatment center for all sports-related injuries. As The medical staff runs out. Snyder now flat on his back. We'll take a timeout. 6 minutes, 48 seconds left to go here in the third quarter. Eastmont looking for more points. They lead at 13-0. The point after try when we come back. Stay with us. Devin Snyder for the Wildcats scored on a 55-yard run. Manny Lopez now on for the point after try. And Eastmont trying to make this a 2-touchdown lead. And it's up, and it's good. 6 minutes and 48 seconds left to go here in the third quarter. It's now Eastmont 14 and Eisenhower nothing. We'll be back at the Wildcat Stadium in 60 seconds. Stay with us. Eastmont scoring drive, 8 plays, 97 yards. They took 3 minutes, 20 seconds off the clock, highlighted by a 55-yard touchdown run by Devin Snyder. Point after try by Manny Lopez is good. And that's where we stand right now, almost halfway through the third quarter. Jay, it's 14-0 just like that. This has been a big play kind of game for both teams, especially Eastmont so far.
Well, that's the second big play that Schneider's contributed. Over 130 yards just himself combined between rushing and receiving.
Amazing. Here is Reyes on the kickoff from Lopez. Has some room left side. He's got a head of steam and then gets tripped up at the 25. Nice defensive play by the Wildcats. In fact, that was a saving play. In on the tackle, Victor Weldon. 5'10", 165-pound junior defensive back with a nice special teams play. And Ike now with the football once again, the second time in the second half at their own 27-yard line.
Eisenhower is going to need – they were moving the football. They just threw an interception. So they're going to keep with that same offensive scheme, try to spread the ball out, but they got to take care of the football.
Cadets sorely need a scoring drive here with Reyes split bottom of the screen. He's the real threat as Cornegay will keep it that time. Tonga got one of his legs, and that keeps the gain down to only 1 on first down. Second down and 9 for the Cadets.
Yeah, they could have picked up a couple more, but Tonga got a shoelace right there and tripped him up.
We haven't mentioned his name much tonight, though, Jay. Not as much as we have in previous games, but I think Braden Johnson's playing such an outstanding game at the other tackle that kind of overshadowed Tonga a little bit tonight.
It's really tough as an offensive line to take on 2 big guys like that who are constantly moving the line of scrimmage.
Second down and 9. Ball at the Ike 27-yard line. Handoff goes straight up the middle and nothing doing there. So once again, I think it was Nyberg with the carry. And maybe a yard on that. We'll call it third down and 9. No gain. And now the Cadets facing third down and long.
It looks like they're putting Reyes out on an island down there. Expecting him to be getting the football here.
I'll tell you, though, the sophomore for Eastmont has done a heck of a job on him tonight. I think it's McElwain.
False start.
So instead of third and 9, it'll be third down and 14 for the Cadets.
Eisenhower's not really making it easier for themselves getting these penalties in these situations. They need to be a little more disciplined. Can't be having that when they're down by 2 scores now.
We haven't had a lot of penalties tonight. Really only 2 turnovers. It's been pretty much a ground game for both teams tonight. With almost just a little over 5.5 minutes now is all left in this third quarter. Third down, 14. Ball is moved back to the Eisenhower 23-yard line. Receivers moving around the field. Still 4 of them in the offensive set. I think we've seen that all night long now. Spreading that defense out, but Eastmont has been equal to the task, at least so far, as Cornegay goes back into shotgun. Looks like Nyberg back there with him out into the flat. It's a middle screen, and it's Garibay. And he's got room left side. 45-50, finally drug out inside Eastmont territory at the 46-yard line.
Yeah, and that's one of those things that's really, you got to stay home on defense. When the lineman doesn't block you, that's when you realize, hey, screen pass. Eastmont's defensive line, they got a little hungry for the quarterback there and ended up getting burned.
I like how they send Nyberg out of the flat as a fake screen and then throw the inside screen and get a 23-yard gain.
Yeah, their line was moving downfield, got into the secondary for Eastmont, and we were pushing guys around.
First and 10 Cadets now inside Eastmont territory. Here's Nyberg on the handoff, and Johnson just pounds him right at the 45-yard line. Looks like they will give Nyberg about a yard, but that's it. And a nice defensive play again by the senior tackle, Braden Johnson. Ball will be spotted right at the 45-yard line, so a yard on that play. 2nd down and 9. Clock continues to move, under 4.5 minutes now left in the third quarter. Trips bottom of their screen. That's the wide side of the field. Handoff again. Nyberg had some room up the middle, and it got closed real quick. And a nice defensive stop once again. And we've been calling his name all night. Brett Womack, the inside linebacker, with a stop for the Wildcats. Gain of about 3. That'll bring up 3rd down and 6 now for Eisenhower.
Yeah, and with that, Nyberg's just gotten over the 50-yard mark to 9 on rushing. Over about 11 carries so far for him.
Pretty workmanlike performance so for Nyberg, and he's going to add to that now with a run over the middle, and he's dragging Wildcats across the 35. That'll be well enough for a 1st down. Gain of about 9 for Nyberg that time. Straight ahead running to the 33-yard line.
He's hitting those holes hard. Eastmont's going to have to figure out what they want to do defensively. I think the thing that's going on is that with this spread formation that Eisenhower's running, the linebackers aren't being able to stuff him just like they were in the first half.
Boy, and Nyberg is more of a running back, a natural running back than Shields. I think I can see why he's in there now. Shields more of that bruiser kind of back. 1st and 10 Cadets on the move at the Eastmont 33. Pass in the flat, and it's caught. Short gain, Tony Barajas. Up to the Eastmont 29-yard line. That'll be a gain of about 4. Cornegay I'll tell you, when he throws the football, he's usually right on target, isn't he? We haven't seen him throw any wild throws really yet tonight.
Yeah, he does a good job of putting it right on his receivers in the spot they can catch it.
Cornegay shotgun. Here's Nyberg. Big hole right up the middle of the field. 15, and he stopped at about the 14. Looks like they'll mark him at the Eastmont 15. Another nice gain for Nyberg of 13 right up the middle of the field. Nothing fancy about that one.
Yeah, that goes back to the linebackers are all spread out. They're going to have to figure out a way to bring at least one more guy back into the box. You're either going 5 men in the box on defense, and there's really – if you're an offensive line, you got 5 blockers, 5 guys to block. And so who's going to tackle the running back at that point?
9th play of this drive for the Cadets, which began all the way back at their own 27-yard line. Now at the Eastmont 15. And a timeout is called by the Cadets. We'll take a break as well. 2 minutes, 25 seconds left to go third quarter. It's Eastmont 14 and Eisenhower nothing. This is Wildcat football on the NCW Life Channel. So both teams now have burned a timeout here in this second half. Coming out of the timeout, Ike facing 1st down and 10 at the Eastmont 15-yard line. Nyberg stays in at running back. Cornegay in shotgun. Play action. Cornegay will keep it. Find some room on the outside. He might find the end zone, and he will. 15 yards. Drew Cornegay, and Eisenhower's on the board.
And that's just one of those things. The tackle box is in Eisenhower's favor when you only have one linebacker for Eastmont out there. All they had to do was have the tackle shift up and seal down on Womack there, and then he's got a 15-yard scamper into the end zone.
All right, on for the extra point try is Thomas Opplinger. Remember, Jonathan Guzman, their starting kicker, was injured in the first quarter when he was roughed on a punt. And now it's Opplinger on for the point after try. 14-6 right now. Snap's good. Hold is down. Here's the kick. It's up, and it's through the middle, and good. 2 minutes, 15 seconds left to go third quarter. We've got a ball game. It's Eastmont 14 and Eisenhower 7. We're back with more in 60 seconds. Stay with us. The Cadets go 9 plays, 73 yards, took off 4 minutes and 27 seconds off the game clock, and are back in this one now. It's Eastmont 14, Eisenhower 7. I do have some updates and scores for you. In California, it's Cal 10, Washington State 3 with a little over 8 minutes left in the second quarter. And also from baseball tonight, a final from Houston. It was the Astros 2 and the Yankees 1 in Game 1 of the American League Championship Series. Well, it makes some of us happy. 2 minutes, 15 seconds left to go third quarter. as Guzman set to kick off, and he kicks a squib kick. I don't know if he meant to or not. It's picked up and then dropped by Schneider. He finally picks it up at the 12-yard line. Has some room now left side. Will he break a tackle or two? Gets all the way up to the 31. And a nice 16-yard return when it looked like nothing for the senior Devin Snyder, and Eastmont back on offense.
That's one of those things as a special teams guy, you know, it's tough to make that tackle, but you got to figure out a way to do it because you got an extra 2-3 seconds there to make the play, and still Schneider figures out a way to put 20 yards on them.
So the second touch of the football for the Eastmont offense here in the second half, and it comes with 2:07 left in the third quarter. Massey, handoff to Scaramazino. Got a big hole over the right side all the way up to the 40. It'll be about a yard shy of a first down, but give him 9 on that carry. A nice blocking on the right side of that line.
Well, Scaramazino's been quiet here in the second half, but that was a good first touch, and he shows that he's still ready to go.
I think Eastmont will be pretty content in just keeping this on the ground as long as they can on this possession. With second down and 1 now. Massey under center. Simpson, the lone split out. He's on the bottom of the screen. Handoff Lopez right up the middle for the first down and more across the 45. He'll be marked down at the 46-yard line. And that'll be 6 for Manny Lopez and an Eastmont first down.
He's dragging 3 tacklers with him. Just keeps going.
It's amazing. The first guy never tackles Manny Lopez. It's something to see. And we're not just saying that. It's true. It's true.
He's just one of those guys. He's a low runner and he's a hard runner, and it's just hard to bring down in this kind of game.
1st and 10, Wildcats leading by a touchdown, 14-7 as we wind down this third quarter. Blitz coming by the Cadets. Handoff goes to Devin Snyder. He's got room again. Can he make a move back up the middle of the field? The 30, 20-yard line, 10-5, touchdown, Wildcats. 54 yards.
He seems to like that distance.
Wow.
That is just incredible. Well, that puts him over 100 yards on the ground today.
A 55-yarder and a 45-yarder now under his belt for the senior, Devin Snyder. And just like that, the Wildcats answer Eisenhower's touchdown.
With that, Schneider is looking at 190 yards and 2 touchdowns in combined between his receiving and rushing. So he's going to be looking at that 200-yard mark. What a way to play on senior night.
Boy, I guess. This is the kind of night we'd expect all the time from Devin Snyder. Here's Manny Lopez now for the point after try. Looks right down the middle, and it's good. 59 seconds left to go, third quarter. It's now Eastmont 21 and Eisenhower 7. We're back to Wildcat Stadium right after this. 3 plays, 69 yards for the Wildcats, highlighted by a 54-yard touchdown run by senior Devin Snyder. Lopez, the point after try, good, and that's where we're at 21-7. And here's the kick by Lopez, and it's taken by Drew Reyes on the near side. He's gang tackled in at the 26, and that's where Ike will begin their third drive of this second half from their own 26-yard line.
Well, Eastmont is really just pounding the ball on the run game, but all 3 of their touchdowns have come from over 50-yard plays on the ground. It's just incredible.
You don't see that very often when you watch a football game. You might see one big play that's broke for a touchdown, but it's been pretty fun to watch, that's for sure. You just get the feeling with all these athletes, Scaramazino, Snyder, Knighton can break it, that something's going to happen, and it sure did there.
Well, what kind of team usually ends up with 4 running backs that can all carry the load and all be explosive?
It's a nice problem to have, that's
Lopez
for sure.
Lopez is kind of the not the big speed guy, but he sure gets the job done between the tackles.
Absolutely. Here's the handoff. Speaking of tough yards, it's Nyberg. Once again, a nice gain on first down. Brought down by Womack, but not before he gains about 8. All the way up to the Ike 34-yard line, second down and 2. Once again, 4 receivers as Ike hurries things up just a hair here as we get close to the end of this third quarter. 25 on the game clock, 15 on the play clock. Handoff again, Nyberg, and why not? Close to a first down. Don't think he got there, though. How about Womack on that play? Played a great game from his inside linebacker position, and that stuffs Nyberg. Not only looks like they're going to give him the first. Boy, it was very close. Needed 2. We'll give him 2. Clock still moving. Don't think we'll get a playoff here to end this third quarter, and we won't as the clock ticks down on this cool, crisp night here at Eastmont High School at the end of the third quarter. Our score is Eastmont 21 and Eisenhower 7. We'll take a 2-minute timeout, come back for the fourth quarter here on the NCW Life Channel. And while you're away, first down and 10 for Ike and a quarterback keeper, and Cornegay goes nowhere. In fact, goes backwards for a 2-yard loss, and that'll bring up second down and 12. Boy, I don't know what happened there. It looked almost like a busted play, didn't it, Jay?
It really was, and for Eisenhower, they can't be affording to do that here in the fourth quarter down by 2 scores, so they're going to have to be airing the football out here from here on out.
Cornegay, handoff. They're keeping it on the ground. Nyberg gets back to the original line of scrimmage in an extra yard, so give Nyberg 3 on that carry, make it 4. And that'll bring up third down and 9 for the Cadets. Ball at their own 38-yard line. Just underway fourth quarter. Hope you've enjoyed this one. It's been a good one here from Wildcat Stadium. Big 9 matchup. Both teams here tonight looking for their first Big 9 league win.
Well, Eastmont's definitely doing a good job. I haven't been a fan so much of keeping one linebacker here in the box, but they're shutting down the passing game, which is going to be effective with the 2-touchdown lead.
Cornegay back to pass. Here's that inside screen once again. It's Barajas, and he's not going to go too far after the catch. It will be a gain of about 6. But that will bring up fourth down for the Cadets at their own 42-yard line. Here comes the punting unit on for Eisenhower, and the ever-dangerous Devin Snyder goes back to receive this punt for the Wildcats. Looks like he's feeling okay now, too, Jay.
Oh, he's been feeling fine. He's
tough kid, that's for sure.
Put up 200 yards of offense, just in yourself. That's pretty impressive.
Little Christian McCaffrey-like here tonight for Eastmont, and we've got flags before the punt even gets in the air. Guzman, the punter, on, and we've got a false start on the Cadets. That'll move them back. Both teams 2 timeouts left in this fourth quarter in a 21-7 ball game. They're going to make Guzman kick it a little bit farther back. Snyder stays at about his own 25-yard line. Snyder's hoping a short kick and he can get a little running start on this one.
Gotta imagine he is. He's had a few good returns so far, being able to get 10, 15 yards out of him. But
and here come the Wildcats after it. They're not going to get to it. Guzman, an end-over-end punt that kind of dies at the 39, but a nice roll down to the Eastmont 35. And that's where the Wildcats will begin first and 10 on this, their third drive of the second half.
Well, Eastmont comes into this drive with about 350 yards of total offense so far, with 290 of it coming on the ground. Just absolutely pounding the football.
Well, and last week, as Coach Don told us, they scored on 6 of their first 7 possessions in that game in Sandpoint, Idaho last week. So the offense is clicking. Plus a nice pass earlier in the game to Snyder as well.
It sure was.
Here we go, Wildcats, first down and 10 at their own 35. Handoff almost missed by Knighton. Then he turns it into a gain of about 6 over the 40 to the 42-yard line. Make it 7 for Knighton. Haven't called his name a lot tonight, but he made that one worthwhile for himself with a 7-yard gain. And it keeps that clock moving too, Jay, which is important for Eastmont at this point.
Yep. Eisenhower needs to get a stop if they want to keep themselves in this game, or else they're just going to let Eastmont run it out.
Here's where that big line can really do some more damage for Eastmont as well. We'll see if they kind of wear down this defensive line for the Cadets. Second down and 3 for Eastmont. Handoff, Scaramazzino jukes and jives at the 40, but ends up losing a yard or 2. Goes nowhere. Nice defensive stop. Drew Reyes, one of the first defenders for the Cadets, in on that play. That'll be a loss of 1 for Scaramazzino, who also scored on a long run. He must be fairly close to 100 yards in this game, Jay. Had a 60-yard run in the first half. I guess that's been about it for Scaramazzino so far tonight.
Well, it's hard, when you've got Schneider who's just playing out of his mind right now.
That's true, and he's going to let him keep doing it if it means a W for the Wildcats. Third down and 3. Ball at the Eastmont 42-yard line. Massey, the handoff up the middle to Lopez, and boy, uncharacteristically is dropped immediately. You don't see that very often. And he will be short of the first down, and the punting crew runs onto the field for the Wildcats.
Well, one thing that I've liked about the way that Eastmont's play calling has been this game is that we've seen a lot of Massey on the keepers. I think maybe once or twice that he's kept the football on a run so far tonight.
And that was Eastmont's offense early in this season, was that read offense every single time, and they have gone away from that. You're right.
Well, now they're going with a 3 running back set where any 3 of them could run the football and keep it effective.
I don't know, the whistle sounds, and we've got timeout called by the Cadets on a punt, which is unusual, and that takes Eisenhower down to 1 timeout left in this fourth quarter. With 8:04 left in the period, we'll take a quick timeout. Let's just keep it here, Jay. What do you say?
I think we can keep talking about it.
The Yankee fan says we got to keep it here, so I guess we better do that. 21-7, Eastmont on top. Just a little over 8 minutes left in the game. And, Jay, if Eastmont can put a drive together here and go down and score again, that should salt this one away for the Wildcats. But then again, a lot can happen in a football game, so you never know. It's still a lot of time left.
Yeah, Eastmont's been doing a really good job of taking care of the football and just keeping the offense on the field. I got to imagine that Eisenhower's defense is feeling pretty tired right now.
They've been on the field a lot, like you said, and they've done a lot of chasing tonight, too.
Sure have. Eastmont's done a really good job of having their linemen. They get their initial block, and then they're moving into the secondary, which makes it really tough to start making those open field tackles.
So as I mentioned, the Cadets now down to 1 timeout after that timeout they just called, and it will be Guzman on to kick for the Cadets. Or I should say Manny Lopez, Guzman back. No, it isn't. It's Drew Reyes. Let me get that
Reyes
straight. Back to receive the punt for the Cadets. It's only the 3rd punt by Lopez in the ballgame for Eastmont. Nice, beautiful spiral downfield, and Reyes going to let this go, and it takes a Wildcat bounce inside the 10 down at the 8-yard line.
That was a nice kick and really good job of putting it somewhere where it was going to be difficult to return, and then had a good forward roll, and now Eisenhower is going to be working to move the ball they got about
92 yards
to go.
With 7:54 left in the game and only 1 timeout to work with now. And I think that could be big, especially if Ike goes down and scores here and kind of makes it a ball game late. They're going to need that timeout. Eastmont with 2 left.
I would expect the way that they're going to want to look at this is either using that halfback screen that they've found some success with or hitting Reyes downfield.
Eastmont's got to be aware of that. But I'll tell you what, that sophomore McElwain has done a heck of a job tonight, Jay, on Reyes. The senior wide receiver, one of the top receivers in all the Big 9. Trips far side of the field. Handoff instead goes to Nyberg, and he is hit by Womack right at the 10-yard line. And he's going to feel that one tomorrow. Womack, what a game he's had tonight for the Eastmont Wildcats.
Well, they've really been putting it on Womack to be kind of this defensive rock. They're putting 4 down linemen and then just him at linebacker, as you've got the other 2 linebackers are all spread out. So he's doing a phenomenal job of kind of having the odds against him, but still persevering out there.
3 yards on that carry is what they give Nyberg. 2nd down and 7. Back to pass, one against Cornegay. That may be grounding, and we've got a flag. It might be interference on the Wildcats. Would that be unfortunate? Victor Welton on coverage, and he's pointing to himself, but we'll see. I think Cornegay, that should be grounding. He didn't have a receiver even close to that, and he was running for his life back to his end zone.
Yeah, I got to imagine that's grounding, but they might not have called it.
Good pressure by the sophomore Dominic Torres. In from his defensive end position. Let's see what the call is with 7:18 left to go in the fourth quarter. And it is holding on Eastmont. Well, I'm surprised that the crowd's calling for it too, Jay, that they didn't call that grounding, because it sure looked obvious to us, and that should have been offsetting penalties there.
Yeah, at the very least. That's, a big break for Eisenhower. They need that at this point in the game.
No, there's no doubt about that, and the ball will be moved up to the 21-yard line. It'll be 1st down and 10 for the Cadets. 4th drive of this second half for Ike. Did score a TD and a couple of punts so far in this second half. 1st down and 10. Ball right at the Eisenhower 20-yard line. Cornegay slaps his hands, looks out right into the flat, goes that way, has a blocker, but doesn't help him much, and then gets run out of bounds after about a 4-yard gain along the Cadet sideline. Receiver was Jaden Corbray.
And the clock will stop because he was tackled out of bounds, so that is important for Eisenhower, is making sure that when they're picking up these yards, get out of bounds, stop the clock. They only have one timeout left.
That's a great point. I think a lot of plays will be going towards the sidelines here as this fourth quarter moves on, too, and Eastmont can keep that in mind defensively. They get the sticks in the right spot, or do they? Oh, another penalty. Helmet-to-helmet call on Eastmont.
Yards.
That helps the Cadets a bunch now as the ball is moved out to their own 39-yard line. Didn't see that penalty.
Nope, they've picked up 25 yards so far in penalties, so Eastmont needs to clean it up and finish this thing out.
Cornegay shotgun. Once again, they look to the sideline for the offensive play. 4 receivers once again out there with Nyberg in the backfield. Reyes, the bottom of the screen with the sophomore McElwain on him, and he's done a great job tonight. They're going to hand it off instead. Nyberg cuts it back up the middle of the field, still moving those legs, and then gets dropped at the 45. Gain of 6 on first down for the Cadets. Boy, Nyberg has just been the workhorse for Eisenhower here since about the second quarter, really.
Yeah, he came in and he was given his opportunity to, kind of take over the running back role, and he doesn't want to give it up. He's giving it his all right now. I don't know how much longer Eisenhower can really rely on running the football, but Nyberg's putting out a pretty good effort.
Second down and 4, ball at the Ike 45-yard line. And we've got movement. The left tackle took off.
Bit of miscommunication there. That's going to...
When you're embarrassed and you're the only one that moves like that, what do? You blame it on the quarterback.
Well, just like a defensive lineman, all you really got to do is look at the football, and the football's not moving, you shouldn't be moving.
Chance Ward, the guilty party, 6'1", 250-pound junior for the Cadets. That changes things a bit. Now second down and 9 for Ike. Ball is moved back to their own 40-yard line.
Well, you got the one-on-one coverage that you want down here for Reyes, and so...
It's funny when Cornegay, though, goes back to pass, he doesn't even look down to this side of the field. He always looks right, it seems like, and he's doing it again, looking right, has his man, and it's dropped at the 43-yard line. That'll go incomplete and bring up third down and 9.
Yeah, he's not even, he's kind of telegraphing where he's going to go. He's not looking around. He didn't have pressure on him right there. He could have seen, where his other routes are going. I understand that you're trying to just get that quick completion, pick up the 5 yards, go 3rd and 5 rather than 3rd and 9. But still, you got to survey the field a little bit more, make it a little more difficult on those safeties for Eastmont so they can't read your eyes.
Third down and 9. Ball at the Cadet 40-yard line with just over 6 minutes now left to go in this ball game. Eastmont on top, 21-7. Here's the snap out of shotgun. Cornegay back to pass, has all kinds of time, steps up, and we are going to have pass interference.
Got there a little bit early.
Jordan Jessup, the cornerback, just a hair early, and that'll help out Eisenhower again. And this what's been a penalty-fueled drive for the Cadets here late in this fourth quarter.
Well, that's the thing that Eisenhower's been wanting to do is get the ball to Reyes down the field and, make the defense make a mistake or, force them to, pass interference. It's been the second time tonight where you've seen, Reyes has his man beat, and then Eastmont's only thing left to do is just, to foul him. And that time was a little more complicated, but...
And that was really how you play the quarterback position right there, Jay. You feel pressure in the pocket, you step up in the pocket to avoid the pressure, and you make a nice throw downfield. That was a nice play by Drew Cornegay.
Yeah, and Tonga was looking like he might be able to get in there for a sack, but the line did a good job of keeping him out of the pocket, get him to run around the backside, and that's what gave him the time to step up and then fire down, end up getting 15 yards on the penalty.
So on a drive that began all the way back at the 8-yard line, the Cadets now find themselves at midfield, first down and 10. As the Eastmont defense continues to move backwards, a little bit on their heels, but there have been a lot of penalties to help out this Ike drive. Here's Cornegay shotgun. Screen pass out in the flat and read perfectly by Eastmont out in the flat.
I believe that is Preston Esparza making the tackle.
Nice play by Esparza, and that'll be a big loss of about 6 all the way back to the Ike 44-yard line. It'll bring up second down and 16 now for the Cadets.
That's a big 6-yard loss right there.
Second down and 16 for the Cadets.
4 receivers remain in the offensive set. Boy, lots of room down below, but it's given to Nyberg. Instead, runs head-on into Womack. Crosses the 45 to about the 46. Short gain of 2 yards for Nyberg on that carry. Boy, I wonder how many tackles Womack has made tonight. I think we've called his name at least 10 times tonight. He has just played an outstanding game.
With that rush, Nyberg just crossed over that 100-yard mark on the night, so a good night for him.
Absolutely. He's run hard all night. They're trying to catch Eastmont off guard there on a quick snap. The pass is caught by Reyes downfield, the 20, or I should say the 25, still on his feet, finally blown dead at the 23-yard line. What a catch by the top receiver in the Big 9, Drew Reyes. All the way down to the Eastmont 27-yard line.
That's one of those just, what is that, the catcher flag game that you used to play as a kid? You just throw the ball up there and just have somebody go after it?
Absolutely. 1st and 10 now. Cadets in business, deep into Eastmont territory. Cornegay flushed out of the pocket, rolls right. I think that was out of bounds, and it will be called out of bounds, just shy of the first down marker. Reyes a little bit shaken up as he made that catch. May have fallen on the ball a little bit. With just under 4.5 minutes now left in this ball game, but this one timeout is going to prove big for Eisenhower. Have burned 2 timeouts so far in this half, 1 on punt formation. And we'll see if that proves costly here down the stretch. Cornegay shotgun, trips bottom of the screen, handoff Nyberg, and not going anywhere. Torres got him around the ankles at about the 25. And Nyberg just back to the line of scrimmage.
That was a really good job on Torres' part. He got through the line, broke his feet down, slid over, made the tackle instead of just trying to bull rush through it and whiff on it.
Now, I think he's a good-looking young defensive player, sophomore defensive end for Eastmont. And as Coach Don said, they have 8 underclassmen that start on defense, so they've got something to build on for next year. But they're not thinking that right now. They're thinking stop. As the clock is now under 4 minutes left in the game. Here's Cornegay back to pass again. It's short, and is it picked off? It's dropped at the 2-yard line.
Ooh.
Right into the hands of the Eastmont defender, but he couldn't hold on to it. Wesley McElwain. Boy, that was a tough pass right into triple coverage in front of the end zone, and lucky that wasn't picked off.
Well, that would have kind of been the icing on the cake there for McElwain tonight. I mean, he's just been playing lights out, going against a tough, top-class wide receiver, and wasn't able to hold.
This will probably be the game right here, Jay. 4th down and 10. Ike going for it here at their own 23, or at the Eastmont 23-yard line with 3:49 left in the game. Here it is, 4th and 10. Cornegay going to the end zone, a floater, and some contact, and a flag comes out in the end zone. And that will be interference in the end zone on Eastmont, I'm sure. Double covered again. And it's Reyes was the intended receiver. A little bit gimpy getting back to the huddle for the Cadets.
That is a one way to do it, is he's a tough guy to cover. You might as well just try to get on the ball, and just, the defense is going to end up making mistakes. Kind of far away to be able to see what really happened down there on the call, but
boy, Wesley McElwain, I think, has done an outstanding job on Reyes for the most part tonight. That'll give the Cadets an automatic first down. Where's the ball going to be spotted? Here we go. Inside the Eastmont 15 at the 13-yard line. First down and Cadets from there with 3:44 left in the 4th quarter. Eisenhower trying to make this one exciting at the end. They got to get into this touchdown. How many penalties has that been on this possession alone?
I believe that is the 5th on Eastmont for 75 yards.
In one possession.
Yeah.
First down and 10 Cadets, as I mentioned, at the Eastmont 14-yard line. Cornegay stays in shotgun. He's been there the entire game. Nyberg the carry right side. Breaks the initial tackle. Braden Johnson, or I should say Tonga, got a hand on him, but a nice gain then. Inside the 10 to about the 9-yard line. Gain of 5 for Nyberg.
Leading the tackling for the Wildcats, Christian Tonga. The ball carrier,
2nd down, 6 yards to go for Eisenhower. Inside the Eastmont 10-yard line. Clock moving now at 3:12 left to go in the 4th quarter.
With the trips on the left side, still got Reyes in one-on-one coverage.
Cornegay looks left this time. Unusual, goes that way. Ball was uncatchable and goes over the head of the intended receiver, Tony Barajas. Stops the clock with 3:02 left now. 2nd down and 5 for the Cadets. Make it 3rd down now. I think it's more like 6th and 5.
One of those things that you got to be looking at as a quarterback. Yeah, I understand that's supposed to be a snap pass, but he was only looking to the left side. He didn't see that McElvain was actually coming over on a corner blitz, and Reyes was open 5 yards away from the end zone with only Schneider in the back of the end zone as the safety.
And, you know, really, when you think about it, Cornegay's done that all night. He's looked the receiver down every time he's gone that way, and he's rolling right this time on 3rd down and 6 into the end zone, and it's in and out of the end zone, uncatchable into double coverage again. And that'll bring up 4th down and another do-or-die situation for the Cadets. 4th down and 6 from the Eastmont 9-yard line.
Well, you can see how the penalties have played out in this this drive here. Cornegay he's 0 for his last 5 passing attempts, yet because of the pass interference calls, they've been able to move the field down. What I would like out of a quarterback when you're rolling out like that, he's got to kind of be aware of the pressure coming from the side. He had time to set down his feet and make a good pass, but he just kind of threw it on the run and ended up throwing it way past his target.
4th and 6. This could be the ball game for the Cadets. Cornegay in a screen pass to Nyberg, and he can't hold on to it. He started running before he really had the ball, and it goes incomplete, and Ike will turn it over on downs, and that could be the game for the Cadets with 2:51 left.
Yeah, Nyberg not securing the pass in and just kind of seeing that he wants to get upfield, maybe get that touchdown, but you got to secure the pass.
12 plays on that drive for Ike, and they come away with nothing. As they turn it over on downs to the Wildcats, who will have the ball at their own 9-yard line.
Eastmont's just going to be looking to put it away here on the ground.
See a lot of Manny Lopez, I'm guessing, right now as the Cadets play up on the line of scrimmage, as you would imagine. The handoff goes to Devin Snyder over the left side, gets a couple of yards, and hit hard at about the 13-yard line. Snyder with 4 yards on that carry.
That was his 10th carry of the night, and so he's right around the 150 yards of rushing so far tonight.
You know, we've been waiting and waiting, doing all these Eastmont games this season for Snyder to really have a breakout night. It hasn't really happened. He's had some moments so far this season, but boy, is he showing his true athletic ability here tonight.
I've kind of felt the same way, is that he's got the athletic look, and you know he can do it. It's just a matter of putting it all together all in one night.
2nd and 6 now for the Wildcats at their own 13-yard line. Handoff right up the middle. It's Manny Lopez. Cuts it outside. Still on his feet. 1st down and stays in bounds across the 20 to the 22.
That's Manny Lopez, but, you know, you don't expect him to pop it out like that. But sure enough, he shows that he can do it.
9 yards on that carry for Lopez as we are now under 2 minutes left to go in this ball game. Clock is stopped while the chains get moved. And then it'll start rolling again. 21-7, Eastmont on top, trying to salt this one away and pick up their first Big 9 win of the season. And with ball control here, Jay, they could run this out right here on this possession with only 1 timeout remaining for Ike, and they're probably going to use it here as we get closer to a minute or so, depending on, I guess, what happens here on 1st and 2nd down. But a big gain here would be pretty dire for the Cadets.
Yep, just keep 2 hands on the football and just go right between the tackles.
1st and 10, Eastmont from their own 21-yard line. Handoff, Devin Snyder, left side, cuts it up the middle of the field, gets a nice gain across the 25 to the 26. And Snyder will pick up 5 yards on that 1st down carry. There is a flag down, Jay. It came out late.
Maybe a holding call?
Or may even be a face mask at the end of that play. Let's see here. Guess it could be a lot of things, but we'll see what happens. Seems to be a meeting on every flag tonight.
Looks like it's going against Eastmont.
Personal foul is on the Wildcats. That'll move the Eastmont Wildcats back with 1:29 now left to go.
And that could be any sorts of things, whether it's something said and some maybe action that we missed, but kind of a interesting call.
Lineman possibly having a little tussle at the line of scrimmage. Like you said, Jay, it could be a lot of things.
Well, it goes back to the guy who retaliates is the one who gets caught.
Absolutely.
So you might wonder, you got Eisenhower's, probably going to end up losing this game, and they start getting a little chippy. You retaliate, you say something you shouldn't, and then all of a sudden 15.
That's a really good point. It really is. Ball is back now at the Eastmont 13-yard line. First down and 17 for the Wildcats. I don't think they really care about that right now. They're just trying to ground this one out and use time off the clock with 1:29 left. Simpson split out wide, bottom of the screen.
Yeah, Eisenhower's not even playing the pass right now. They have all their safeties are walked up just a little bit behind the linebackers.
Maybe this is where you send Snyder deep and just toss it down the field.
Well, we haven't seen Simpson, but he's just one-on-one coverage down there.
Playing way off Simpson as well as Ike shows blitz, and why not? The handoff instead goes to Snyder. Had some room and a really nice tackle on that left side. Tony Barajas from his defensive back position, and that could have been a huge gain for Devin Snyder. Instead, only about 2 yards. That'll bring up second down and 15 now for the Wildcats with just over a minute left in this fourth quarter, a minute 2 to be exact. And I think Eisenhower will use their last time out here, and they do. With a minute 2 left. And we'll take a quick one as well. 21-7, Eastmont over Eisenhower, 30 seconds, and we'll be back to Wildcat Stadium to wrap this one up. Second down and 17 for the Wildcats. The ball is at their own 15-yard line with only a 1 minute and 2 seconds left to go before Eastmont picks up their first Big 9 victory of the season. This will be a nice win for the Wildcats, too. As I mentioned, they have a pretty favorable schedule, at least for them coming up. They play at Davis next week, and then they have the Bridge of Sportsmanship game at the Apple Bowl and finish at Sunnyside. So it should be a good end of the season for Eastmont. We'll see. Handoff goes to Scaramazzino.
Ball's out.
And he fumbled it inside the 20, and Ike picks it up with 54 seconds left. Are you kidding me? The second fumble of the night for the Wildcats. Knighton fumbled the first one, and now Scaramazzino. And that gives Ike the football inside the red zone at the Eastmont 18-yard line.
Well, if Eisenhower was to make any attempt, that's exactly what they needed. They got 54 seconds to try to get a couple of touchdowns. No timeouts. It's going to be, they'll have to score right here, get the onside kick, and then just chuck it deep again to Reyes.
And really, Jay, they haven't proven that they can really move and do anything offensively, run the ball or pass the ball. They throw into double coverage, triple coverage, and then try and give it to Nyberg. But not much production from the offensive side for the Cadets. We'll see what happens here. First down and 10 at the Eastmont 15-yard line. Cornegay back to pass, a floater again in the end zone, and a Cadet did get his hands on it, just couldn't reel it in, and it goes incomplete in the end zone and stops the clock with 47 seconds left.
And, that's what they got to be going for right now. I feel like if you're going to go for a jump ball, though, you might as well just be throwing it to your number one guy.
Boy, not many completions for Cornegay here in this second half. He looked as spot on in the first half, but kind of all over the place here in the second, but a lot of force passes into double and triple coverage here, especially late in the game.
That is his 7th straight incompletion so far.
Wow. Second and 10 for the Cadets. Ball still at the 15-yard line. Here's Cornegay looking for a sideline route, and he had Reyes there and a nice defensive play. Guess who? McElwain, who's played an outstanding football game covering Reyes tonight, and it goes incomplete, third down.
That was a phenomenally timed defensive play right there. That's just, you can't teach that. That's just one of those things that you learn, and it's just instincts and being able to time it perfectly like that.
3 players have stood out on defense, Jay. It's Braden Johnson, Brett Womack, and McElwain in his defensive back position. They have played outstanding here tonight. Third and 10 now, Cadets. 41 seconds left to go. Ball still at the Eastmont 16-yard line. Cornegay back to pass, looking right. That floater in the air. There's a push-off in the end zone and a touchdown. Back. A flag is down in the end zone. It looked like an obvious offensive push-off. So we'll see if this will stand with 35 seconds left.
It's just one of those things. I'm sure that the Eastmont crowd is a little bit happy with that after the call's not going so well for him, but yeah, you just can't.
And it is offensive pass interference. And you can see the point for the receiver. He's trying to get a touchdown to get his team back in it.
He's not looking too happy about it, but yeah, you just can't do that. You got to figure out a way to box a guy out. That's kind of one of those basketball things you see certain players in the NFL. Jimmy Graham, you get a little of that box out and they make that jump ball catch, but yeah, shoving off is just not going to be able to get it done for you.
So that'll move the Cadets back outside the Eastmont 30-yard line, and the ball will be spotted at the 33.
Take the ball back to the 33-yard line, and it'll be third down for Eisenhower.
Third down for the Cadets, and a mile now. Third down and about, 16, or I should say 22? How about that? How about 25? Third down and 25 from the Eastmont 33. Cornegay against the blitz, gets the pass off, and it's caught. And there's big Braden Johnson. They're going to get away from him, but I think he grabbed the face mask at about the 30-yard line. Didn't need to do that, but he was holding on for dear life with 27 seconds now left in this ball game.
He shut that play down real quick.
It's been the last minute of a game ever.
A lot of penalties being thrown, but I mean that's good officiating, making sure that they're doing their jobs, not just, giving up on the game early or nothing like that.
Just kind of running out the clock, you're right. And that was pretty obvious face mask if we could see it from up here.
Well, you got to imagine how big Braden Johnson's hands are there. I mean, he's got a couple of big old claws, and he just end up grabbing a face mask every once in a while.
So now the Cadets get back to where they were, which is inside the Eastmont 15-yard line. It'll be first down and about 6 yards to go for the Cadets, but 27 seconds left on the clock. And the Cadets without timeouts. Clock moving. Cornegay back to pass. Has lots of time to do it, and he's not going to get it off as he gets sacked. Torres, the sophomore linebacker, Dominic Torres, in on that stop. And Cornegay is slow to get up.
That kind of just, is the statement that Eastmont defense is making.
And that'll do it for this game, too. The clock continues to move. I can't stop it, and that will be it. Our final score from Wildcat Stadium, Eastmont 21 and Eisenhower 7. We'll be back in 2 minutes to wrap it up right after this. Grant Olson and Jay Seebeck back in the booth here at Wildcat Stadium, where the Eastmont Wildcats have picked up their first Big Nine victory of the season by defeating the Eisenhower Cadets by a final of 21-7. And Jay, it looked a little dicey at times in that fourth quarter, but Eastmont held on mainly because of that stingy defense who played outstanding football all night long.
Yeah, and they relied on McElwain to go be out on an island, take on a superior wide receiver, and he showed up tonight.
Well, I'd hate to pick a defensive player of the game tonight between McElwain, Johnson, and Womack, who all played just amazing on defense. They really did.
They earned this win on that side of the football. It was really impressive, and I think that Coach Don's going to be really happy moving forward with this group of guys, knowing that they all play together really well.
Absolutely. Next up for Eastmont at Davis, who was taking on the Wenatchee Panthers tonight. No score on that game, but that's a pretty good matchup for Eastmont next week, too, as they now go to 500 overall in this season at 3-3 and 1-2 now in Big Nine play. And let's talk about the night before we close out the show of Devin Snyder, total yards and all of that. He was amazing offensively.
So what I've got down for him is about 205 yards of total offense, with really the only passing yards coming from that big 50-yard catch that he had, and then he's got two 55-yard touchdown runs, and just an incredible effort. And what we didn't really call out his name a lot on the defensive side, he's still playing the weak side safety on defense, so a lot of running for him tonight.
Absolutely, and that'll wrap things up here from Eastmont High School, where once again our final score tonight, Eastmont 21 and Eisenhower 7. I want to thank quickly everyone involved tonight: Mike, Megan, Dan, and my broadcast partner, Jay Seebeck. I'm Grant Olson, hoping you have a great night and a fantastic weekend. And thanks for joining us right here on the NCW Life Channel. Good night, everyone.
Thanks for joining us for Eastmont Wildcat Football on the NCW Life Channel. This broadcast has been presented by Town Chrysler Jeep Dodge, Town Nissan, Collins Fashions, and Walkabout Grill in Wenatchee and Leavenworth. bringing local sports to you. We are the NCW Life Channel. Thanks for watching.